Rifkin, just cast the game already.
You got it, Artosis. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MCR Group 1. This tournament is us trying to raise a little bit of money for those who need some relief from COVID-19 via United Way. I encourage you all to check the donation links and possibly consider giving. But spawning here to the top left side of Submarine, one of the new maps. In the new season, we have our North American Terran. He is Future. And his opponent to the lower right-hand side of the map. So I'm just checking, making sure it's on the right server. We have the blue Zerg player, Cham. And every game today should be hosted on Central by default, but we've been having some server issues, so that's why we're just going to try to double check a little bit better for today. I also forgot I was playing StarCraft. Don't tell anybody. Shh. So I have to check off mouse scrolling. But yes, welcome back. I'm going to be recording this in a long form session again for YouTube. So, hey, YouTube, if you end up watching this later and you like this stuff, let us know. We'll keep doing it. It's experimental for now. But for those who are watching live on Twitch, I hope you guys are ready to have a good night. Because I actually think this might be one of my favorite groups out of all four of the groups. Nothing against the other players and nothing actually in particular for these guys. It's just four North Americans who I really enjoy watching play. I'm hoping we'll see some good games for tonight. Is this stream in support of Black Lives Matters in Minneapolis? So this is a loaded question, but let me be clear on my stance on this before we get into today. Yes, I support Black Lives Matters. Black Lives Matter, excuse me. I support the protesters and I support everything that they're fighting for, and fuck racism, okay? But this stream is not here to raise money for the protesters. This stream is not here to raise money for black businesses. What we're raising money for is COVID-19 relief, because the people who are suffering aren't the only ones who are going to be suffering. All these protesters, as good as they are like wearing their masks, and you've seen all the photos, they've been fantastic at it, you know some people are still going to get sick. Tear gas being launched at them, they're coughing everywhere. So one thing's for sure, protesters, people stuck in jail, business owners, everyone's going to be feeling the sting of COVID-19, especially as the incubation period is 14 days. It'll be about as the time all these protests hopefully are coming closer to an end, that you're going to start seeing a lot of people affected by this. So that is the charity we're going for. If you want to donate directly to Minneapolis, as I've done, we do have a second link in that donate command, but otherwise the default one is just general COVID-19 relief through United Way for the United States. So hopefully that's the information everybody needs about this. And I do stand by all the people who are marching out there, who are protesting out there. Just want to make that very clear, because while this tournament isn't geared towards that, I am entirely. Anyways, boring stuff aside, Cham and Future. Interesting note about Cham I didn't really get to talk about because we were setting things up, was he actually sent a drone scout very early and he was looking for proxies. Now Future is a player who is absolutely willing to throw down a proxy barracks. So it's funny to see that be on Cham's mind for the first game in the series. Granted, I think these players could really easily prepare for the first opponent they have, but after that, they don't know who's in the winner's match. They don't know who's in the loser's match. COVID-19 cases have started to spike already in Minneapolis. Yeah, I saw reports that people were saying Memorial Day. This is 14 days after Memorial Day that all these new cases are arising, and that's scary because that was pretty conservative, even though people still went out there. I can't help but imagine how much worse it's going to be once we start seeing the protester numbers come in.
Fucking talk about the game.
You got it, Lalo. Hellions sit outside the base, but with that patch change, it's only going to take a couple of shots to kill creep tumors, as they now take bonus damage from Hellions, whereas before they took reduced damage from Hellions. Bit of a change up there, and as you saw, a very quick cleanup of a couple tumors, but a lot of that had to do with Future catching them really early as they were being planted down. Third command center coming down on this side, and I guess there's not really a lot to reveal. The Overlord's going to die for its scout, but it does confirm that there's a normal build happening behind this, that it looks like a typical macro Terran and not some weird two-factory mech build. So Cham loses the Oh, he doesn't lose. Wait, what? That has 2 HP.
Would you please just fucking talk about the game?
I'm trying, but I'm so confused. Okay, so that Overlord is going to live for a little bit longer. The Liberator tries to sneak around the side, but the Spore Crawl has already repositioned itself. Cham's so good with this. Future goes down for an attack. The Lings are waiting as well, but they also get fried up because Hellions are just pretty good against Zerglings in this sort of situation. Zerglings get the surround, they're a lot better off, but that's what you see Future trying to do by kiting. He doesn't want the Zlings to surround these Hellions. Now that the Zlings have been dealt with, it's only drones and queens, and frankly, the drones aren't going to stand very long, so he tries to run them around and get them out of the path, but unfortunately, they still fall to fire. And 11 workers die on top of the 28 Zerglings. Oh my god, that Liberator got wrecked, but everything else for Cham did not go well. Ooh, this was a very strong start for Future. All things considered, with this Overlord still alive.
What are you doing, Step-Bro? Shouldn't you be casting the game?
SCVs repair the Hellions. This is actually fairly noteworthy because I feel all of us fans out there have watched our favorite Terran player bring those medevacs or those Hellions or whatever back home with 5 HP and not repair them, and you're like, why? It must be worth it. So I like that little attention to detail here on the Future. It will aid in this follow-up push, which, by the way, we'll probably start moving out with that tank and with those medevacs. We do have Cham taking a lot of bases, though. Future's barely moving towards his third, for Cham's expanding both double to 4 and 5. This kind of base lead could be really nice, but it also could be a big problem. As you'll notice on Submarine, the base distance from here to here is fairly long. And I think for Future, it'd be very easy to harass one, drop the other, and have Cham's army bounce back and forth between the two, unknowing which side needs more love. A lot of the time, that's where that cost efficiency of Terran really comes into play. But early on like this, just a couple of creep tumors for now. He's got a lot of spacing he's got to deal with. Last thing he wants to do is give Cham the advantage in these fights, because of course on creep, those Banelings will be moving a fair bit faster. But a very safe, he really could have scanned again and just gone for it, but he didn't know that he would be safe to do it. So I love that he's playing cautious. But hate to see Future throw away this push for nothing, because this is a fairly strong push. I'm getting a lot of gifted subs and stuff. Thank you guys. We'll read those out in between games. Queen's back away a little bit for now. The hatchery exposed. I'm not sure if this is... You gonna get a kill out of this? Rather than fight the units straight on the other side of the map, he decides to try and cut off the reinforcements. This kind of works out as the Banelings hit the siege tank. A lot of Marines go down, but the Zerglings are not enough to finish this off. So ultimately, Cham's gonna get an okay-ish trade in the middle, lose a base back at home. And he's behind in upgrades right now. Future's got about another 30-second to about a minute window where he could push in and have a 1-1 lead over Cham. It's not always going to be a game-winning decision to make, but sometimes you can get a good engagement. Either way, he's going to pick up. Pretty satisfied with the damage he's done. Please heal him up for the tanks, but that's wishful thinking right there. Well, back at home, Future has got his third base set up, as we saw earlier. Fourth base now finishing shortly. And while he thinks about a game for expanding, Champ's thinking about a game for late matchups. Hive is on the way, but I don't know if he'll necessarily get to make much with the Hive. This right now, this period we're in, this is typically a Zerg weak spot. They're spending a lot of money on tech and advancing through Hive, so they don't have a lot of money for Banelings and things to stop pushes like this. So you are going to see Cham give up ground, but that's the point of having really good creep spread. He gets to buy a significant amount of time because Future has to keep doing this. And anytime he's able to push him back further, it buys him even more of that valuable time. Because it's not even just building the Hive, it's getting the Ultralisk Cavern, it's researching the upgrades. Glad to see you doing with the charity, folks. Can't stick around. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Chillin' Jedi. Yeah, we're over 4K as of last night. It's pretty awesome. You do see Future target fire the Banelings to the best of his capability, but sometimes there's just a lot of units. Rather than give up and retreat, though, he trades out. Is that going to hurt him? He's up in army supply, but a lot of it's split. So half to half like this, not necessarily better for one player than the other. Cham's just really trying to defend his creep while maybe getting a good crush on this army. Hopefully he hasn't forgotten about the army up here, either player, frankly. Cham may think this is the concentrated forces of Future, and if he does so, that base to the top could be forfeit. Either way, we see some Banelings kind of roll around the side. I think he's trying to set up for a flank. Easier said than done, because Future can just pick up in his medevacs and not overly commit. The siege tanks die, but not without taking out several of the Banelings. And while this went on, a base cancel. Was this a kill? It was a kill over here on the rightmost side of the map. Ooh, I don't know about that one, Chief. Planetary Fortress. Oh, I like the cancel. Probably the smarter move here. The Planetary could have finished up or would have died. Instead, drags these Widow Mines into the fight. They get some okay shots on top of the banelings. He's on armory, so the Widowmines have permanent stealth now. That's one of the big patch changes we haven't really discussed too much, as it hasn't come into effect, but ooh, a couple of banelings do make it to the SCV line, and this ends up being about 11 workers killed, unfortunate for Future. But it's good for Cham because he needed to get some clapbacks on this game. All he's been doing is taking damage from Future. Unfortunately, though, the question really is, did he throw too much away at Future's base? Future, oh my god, I just saved both the siege tanks. That's actually so gross. Sets him up again. Banelings come in, but the siege tanks focus fire on him. Marines might just get out alive to see another day. Cham holds once again, but I can't help but look at the resources lost. And for Cham, this is normally an acceptable way to play Zerg, where you're behind, but you're not really, because you're just throwing so much macro at your opponent. This isn't a game where Cham has the ability to do that. Not right now, at least. With the constant pressure out of Future, Cham's never had any energy to breathe. That hive finish feels like forever ago, and the Ultras Cavern's still not done. There's just been no freedom through attention span or straight up gas to be able to do a lot of what Cham needs to and wants to do right now. The Spore Caller trying to reposition itself is to try to snipe the medevacs, but the Balins get their job done, and no snipe on the medevac necessary. Back down here to the south. It's not a crazy lot of Terran to push in on this. I'm just really wondering how good or bad those Widowmine shots are going to be. Because if those are good Widowmine shots, Cham might just leave the game. If those are really bad Widowmine shots, Future will have to fight another day. Oh, first shot good, second shot not so good. Third shot's friendly fire, son of a bitch. But Future wins this so one-sidedly, not necessarily because of the forces he has out here, but definitely because of the forces he has on the way. There's a huge reinforcement wave arriving right now, and this is it for Cham's remaining army. There's a couple of Ultralisks, but these don't have chitinous plating, so they can be killed even by the Marines, something a lot of us are just probably not used to seeing. Chitinous plating's done in 10 seconds too. Oh, oof. GG. Future secures victory in game number 1. It's good to see. Now, I didn't get to talk a lot because we jumped right into the game. So as we're in between games, I want to give some shout outs. Oh, wait, not before I host the next one on Death Aura. Thank you very much to the people who subbed already. You guys are crazy. And we had some gifts go out too. Sorry, hosting the match. Boggy Creek Monster, thank you for the 1 year earlier, dude. Sorry I wasn't there when you subbed, but glad to see you still here. Laylo, thank you for the 7 months. And then Targus HS gifted out 3 subs to Donkey Kong, I like it, Plotty Kittens, and Seneca 420. Thank you, dude. All right, lobby's up for Death Aura. You sir are awesome for spreading awareness for these systematic problems. I feel like everybody should be, man. You know what? Like, I really appreciate the thanks, and I'm gonna say thank you for thanking me. But I wish you didn't need to, you know? I wish it was just more of a thing people would talk about openly. That would be great, right? Well, that's how far we get to one day. Anyways, it's game number 2 loading up. Bit of a black screen for a second. Rob7011 says, please no politics, to which I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, dude. I am not one who's going to use this privilege to shy away and hold my breath and hold my tongue. I have had to deal with a lot of racist stuff over my life, and if the bare minimum of what I can do to support these people is just simply talking about it, normalizing it, and making people aware of it, then I'm going to. And if that offends your sensitivities, please consider coming back a different day, because today and this whole tournament is dedicated to trying to save some lives. At any rate, before we get too pious, spawning here to the top left side of the map, we have the red Terran player, it's Future, and his opponent to the bottom right, the blue Zerg Cham. Now, remarkably so, in game 1, Cham went for this blind drone count, and he does it again here on Death Aura. Future this time is committing to building some racks, but Cham does find it very early. This is a problem. You see that second SCV wanted to go in and help, but I think Future's realizing this might not be worth committing to. Well, can't if he's gonna cancel the barracks, yeah, he's got to do it right now, or it's not gonna be worth his time. Effectively, in a very funny and odd way, he has put himself behind here a little bit, so he takes a risk and goes CC first, which, I don't know about you guys. Every time I've tried to do this, I've been punished for it, but I'm also a terrible player. So we'll see if that ends up happening in future. Cham, granted, did scout the barracks, but because the Overlord took the other path looking for other potential proxy spots, he's actually not on the route to get to the base and scout this. So even though Future is making a risky follow-up by going CC first, he's actually going to get away with it for a time. What is this caster's name? I don't see any casters here. I'm just a mild-mannered field reporter. But my name's Rifkin. Hello. All right, command center though, it's important that he does it this way because he had sent out 2 SCVs early on, thus taking away some of his potential income. His barracks is delayed significantly, so there's not going to be a Reaper timing that he can really rely on. The CC first makes a lot of sense to help make up for those couple of SCVs of lost time. And, you know, Cham, of course, lost a little bit of income for a brief moment, too, because he pulled his drone. But, yeah, this is a good way for Future to get back into things and maybe even possibly get a little ahead. Death Or, of course, has these funny little acceleration spots. You're seeing this SCV speed through. What's the actual increase there? Okay, so they normally move at like 4. It's like 5.5. Okay, that's like, we're talking Oracle speeds there for this SCV. Calm down, bud. He'll get a good scout on this third, though. However, I feel like scouting a Zerg's third is so disingenuous and frustrating because a fair amount of the time, this third base isn't necessarily for a macro game. It's for larva, making a lot of Zerglings and being abusive with roaches. I can see that that's not going to be the case this game. You can see that's not going to be the case this game, but because Future's never made it to the main, nor has he seen the gases, he doesn't know that's going to be the case this game. In fact, Future's Reaper's just kind of skirting around the outskirts right now. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe a little worried he comes back home. Well, Starport starts up, and we're going to have some Hellions join in too. Death Aura. Oh, I forgot about this. It features one of the new kind of stylings they're going for with the season of the map pool. We Dora the explored this yesterday, but don't worry, I'll just flat out explain this time. Normally, this Overlord has this particular safety pillar right next to the natural base. We've seen it a million times. But with that Overlord sitting there, it gets to see the tech, it gets to see the add-ons, it gets to see the SCV count sometimes too. But in this case, some of the new maps feature this further back, meaning he doesn't get the free scout. And as we check Cham's vision, he's not seen jack squat. He still doesn't know it was a fast CC. And this is, I like this. I think this was a necessary change. It was so strange to me that they just gave Zerg free vision for all races in the first half of the game, but I don't think this will break or make the game. I think what I'm hoping is this encourages players to go for Overlord speed more often and thus get better scouting through that means. Because I feel like Overlord speed's a very powerful upgrade, but I'm also not a pro Zerg, and I don't know why everybody just doesn't get it by default. Because I swear, it's when you watch Solar go for it, he wins. He gets all the information in the world. And of course it applies for the rest of the game, so it's just nice to have quality of life. Anyways, look, I know it's not something everybody's gonna incorporate into every build. I'm just saying, with maps like this, I'm really curious to see if that will become the case due to lack of ability to scout so freely. We do have those Hellions coming around the right side. They might catch one of these tumors. Oh, no, this is gonna go straight for the drones. Okay. Oh, he's a madman. He goes for the actual Evo Chamber block. This is really difficult to pull off, mostly because usually the drones are in chaos mode and blocking you from building your own buildings. But the idea with that move is it stops the Hellions from being able to run right in. And it potentially saves the drone. Not in this case, though. Kind of cool to see. Nice moves out of Cham. Limiting the worker kill there to 5. Banshee's got cloak in 5 seconds, too. And it's 5 by 5. That's gonna grab some drones. Nothing impossible. 5 drones is easily bandaged. 6 or 7 or even 8, it's not gonna be that bad. Future keeps his Banshee alive in the bottom right, though. Well, it's not gonna be a problem this game because there's a Spire, but if there wasn't, this could have been a problem for later. He's not satisfied with letting it idle, though. He's looking for some more damage, and even just making the drones pull off a mining for a brief moment like that is kind of some nice damage. added into everything else this Banshee's presently doing. And oh my god, she gets out of the base with 5 HP. I stopped looking because I assume she's dead because I'm used to Queens having 1 more range. But that was another big change in the patch. Queen's range was reduced by 1 for anti-air only. But still, that's the difference of that Banshee dying or living. Straight up. Well, may or may not be able to kite around. I don't think this hatchery should go down to this. The Overseer's here and the Queens are responding. But even then, this Banshee's putting in work, so that hatchery is going to finish up and have like maybe 3/4 HP. We'll check back in on that later. Meanwhile, third base is set up for future as production continues to expand here. It's weird that he's not putting it all in the main, but it's also not bad either because it means all his eggs aren't in one basket, as the metaphor goes, I believe. But he's got 1/1 finishing up. And what I like about this, man, I'm going to toot his horn here a bit. It reminds me a little bit of innovation, where it's not about relying on these gimmicky builds. Like his barracks was canceled and some players would just tap out of the game upon getting scouted. Special comes to mind as an example. But instead, Future chose to get out of this in the best way he knows how, and that's through macro. That was the priority on the CC first. So as he gets his production up, he'll finally be able to spend this money he's been working so hard for this whole game. And I think if we check the income, it should be favoring him, because the pacing doesn't usually have the Terran be the one that ahead that quickly. But as Cham gets his 4th and probably his 5th in the near future, he should be able to just keep up with a raw amount of drones and what have you. The mules will fluctuate, and we'll see that reflected too.
What are you doing, Step Brill? Shouldn't you be casting the game?
You got it. We got 2 drops worth of Marines, but even more marching down the left side of the field. The mutas will manage to catch some of this through the center, but I do believe Future should have enough units to ward this off. This, however, has alerted Cham to the fact that there is an attack coming down this left side either way. So, with Future having a fair amount of Marines, and I think, is that 2 or 3 tanks? That's 3 siege tanks. This is going to be really difficult to disrupt. Oh, I guess the 3rd one's at home. I was going to say, I thought I saw 3, but there's only 2 with the actual push. What one was that? That was a resub alert, dude. That was famous Twitch streamer Kara Corvus lending us her anime voice acting skills. And I said that last sentence with some heavy quotes. We got some really good ones on the wheel. We got Artosis, we got Rotterdam, obviously Kara, Nikki, and some other ones coming in the future too. But speaking of Future, gets caught out here, but also in a weird way catches Cham, but he's in no means to turn around and deal with this, so he decides to go full bore. Unfortunately, full bore meant running face first into Banelings. Future losing it at home and on the front might just be the end of this game. I'm not trying to call it too soon, but this is going to be some mega damage, especially with the SCVs lining up for the... Oh, wait. Oh. So it's double nut right there. But 24 SCVs end up dying. Now, Cham still has to find a way to deal with these drops. But the left side's mostly been dealt with. The right side's maybe a small issue. But the mutas can pick off them. These medevacs, they're so low, so there's no escape. The Marines are just relegated to their death. Now, granted, shout out to Future. On his way out, he managed to take out, like, 2 of the 3 remaining mutas. And he comes back home. The refinery's burning. His add-ons need to get fixed up. I mean, I guess the nice thing for Future is his production isn't really hindered by this. Mostly that was a hit to his income, which we should see reflected favoring Cham now, to be expected. But the way Zerg relies on their macro is not the same way Terran relies on their macro. Terran macro ends up being more for cost-efficient trades and better harassment, whereas Zerg's just like, let's mine as much money as possible so we can throw as many expendable units away as quick as we can, and just overwhelm and win that way. But if you guys were watching a lot of Clem's matches and some of the other ones we've had in this tournament, patience has paid off for a lot of these Terran vs Zerg late games. Whereas for Future, he doesn't need to freak out about the damage he took. He doesn't need to rush out to do more than he needs to. He just needs to play cost efficiently and he'll be okay. The engagement on the Bailey started solid. Not so sound towards the end. This is the game that Cham wanted in game 1. You know, he's made his transition to high tech relatively smoothly. His strength is going to come through these upgrades and through this late game tech that he's going to have access to. Adrenal glands is one thing, but ultras with notably chitinous plating will be much better than ultras without, as you saw last game. So with about 50% of the map ish covered in creep and a lot of this late game stuff on the way, things are looking good for Cham. And there's chitinous plating. Now Cham is once again going to catch a fair amount of the Marines. It looks like 6 or so. And every time he does this, he gives away ban leaves. He knows it. This is calculated because the idea is that with his superior income lead, he can afford to throw away ban leaves. He can afford to not take cost-efficient fights. And that has a lot to do with the playstyle of what I was describing earlier. I like the Corruptors in terms of having an anti-air method. The mutants are pretty flimsy, as we've witnessed through most of this game. So not really reliable to kill medevacs or what is possibly late game liberators. That's where the Corruptors will be pretty handy. God, Cham just has a lot of units. The Future does too, in fairness. And actually, Future's 3-3 will be done considerably sooner than Cham's. So it's going to be a bit more than a small window that he can actually take advantage of here. It's not going to suddenly make him melt Ultralisks, but the Ultralisks, these Zerglings, they're not going to have their damage built in for a little bit of time. Or rather pumped up. Oh, does he have joint? Oh, he does have joint claws. That's cool to see. Joint claws are still the same fast burrow and unburrow for the Widow Mines, but the invisibility part comes from the armory passively now. So we've seen a little bit of good Widow Mine use over this tournament since the patch hit. But Widow Mines alone won't save this one. Somebody's donated to charity. I don't actually have that window open, but whoever that was up there, thank you so much. I'll read it out after. I have to open the window still. Yeah, I hate to say it for Future, but this is looking pretty grim. It's not even crazy that many units. Widow Mine gets a great shot on the banlings. But just Future... Oh, he loses the command center straight up, I guess. That's gonna hurt. I guess the trade out is just get several ultras and corruptors still on the way while he did take some nasty friendly fire. Oh, another base goes down. Maybe not so good. I was about to say, it's just a base. Terran can replace that fairly easily. It's the SCVs that hurt, but he actually maintains a good chunk of SCVs. His base count's reduced by 2 temporarily, but he's already on the way to fixing that. The main base... Oh, some extra command centers they're floating over. That's a really good play, feeling as a Terran player, by the way, when you have extra CCs. Not a lot of CCs because you macroed well. I just mean extras, and like you literally don't need these. You just built them in case you did. I'm a little surprised the Marines didn't focus a bit more on the Corruptors here, but ultimately, Banelings and Lings are used to clean this up. But Cham, despite these great looking fights, despite having base control and map control, he's still down like 7,000 resources. So this is probably Future's best timing over the next few minutes to try and overwhelm. However, if Cham's given more time than that, he'll be able to accrue a bank and thus have another army ready to go via Larva. That's where Zerg, I think, is really difficult to play in the late game. That's where I think the Zerg macro is difficult, because you're not fighting one army, you're fighting like 1.5 to 2 at any given time. So as Cham suffers a little bit on the gas side, remaxing on 100 Zerglings should not be out of the question. Very favorable trade there. Steve Widow Mine took out several of the banlings.
Will you please just fucking talk about the game?
Anabolic Synthesis is coming for the Ultras. This is a really cool upgrade you don't get to see too often. It's a speed increase off of creep, and that's it. Doesn't affect them on creep, even though you get the cool little tailwinds on creep. Just going to be a very handy upgrade for maneuvering around. All right, and I guess we're going to run Stream Raiders on silent in the background right now. Battle's ready. Get those rewards dished out in a minute. These 3 ultras are now gained by several Zerglings. And what was the siege tanks before maybe subtly dealing with this? Not a chance now with those Lings. Reinforcements have to be redirected back home. And it looks like the entire offensive line has been killed. Not a single Marine or Marauder in these medevacs from what I can see. So base goes down to the top right. Loses his frontline army. Future doesn't have an army supply lead anymore, things are looking bad for our Terran. After watching some of the comeback stuff yesterday, I'm not going to count anybody out, but this is going to be really tough. That's the Baneling, some of them, not all of them. Tries to kill the Ultras back. One of them's really low, but oh my god, it just won't die. Is Future transition to Ghost or anything, by the way? Where's the buildings here? No Ghost Academy from what I can see. So he's going to be relying on Marauders as a means to deal with the Ultras. I mean, Liberators are another very favorable choice in a lot of situations, but if it's just going to be a Marine Marauder, this is not such a basic big composition that it can't work. It just usually doesn't. So I'm hoping Future can make this work for him. It'd be very awesome. It'd be very cool to see, but I think Widow Mines and Siege Tanks can make a bigger impact on the game. Oh no, that's a big oof. There's a fight on the right side while this goes on, but another base falls, and as bases continue to go down for Future, you know, he does comically enough have spares, so it's not that big of a pick-off. It's more about the SCVs. But we are approaching this weird point in the game where SCVs dying might not be such a bad thing, because less workers means more army is available through the supply tab. And there are some times where we'll watch a Terran player, you know, 150 army supply, just mow down a Zerg player. They just don't have the numbers for that. Yeah, Future's working off of scarce money. He's muled like nuts, and his income briefly spikes up to be as good as Cham's, but that is going to go away as soon as the mules start going away. Hello, slowly falling crew. Good to see you guys again. I do something a little risky now that we have some mods here. I take followers off. Or, you know, we do followers 5. I think before we were on followers one day. We'll do followers 5 for now. If it gets trolly up in here, I'll let the mods turn it back on. We'll talk more about that after, though. Planetary Fortress not gonna hold. Falls apart to the Banelings. Ultras crush everything else. They hide behind the mineral lines. It's like a bad game of cat and mouse, but GG. Cham pushes through and wins game number 2. Okay, so yeah, we've turned off follower for one day. Follower 5 minutes seems fairly reasonable. And oh cool, all my stuff is broken there still. Sorry, 47s. I see that though. Thank you for the 1,000 biddies. I need to do a sum total of how many bits we're donating to charity too, because I think we're up to like several hundred now, possibly. All right, we're gonna play a commercial break because we haven't done any, so we have pre-roll ads people are dealing with.
What are you doing, Step Brill? Shouldn't you be casting the game?
No, not yet, but soon, stepsister. Targus just gifted 3 subs out as well to Elvio Bite, Ram Down, and High Tea. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Would you please just fucking talk about the game?
All right, folks, welcome back. Countdown has begun, and we are hopping into game number 3. Future very anxious to get going in the game, and don't blame him. But yeah, I asked in chat if somebody could please. Again, I hate to do this. I'm not just being lazy. I'm banned very unjustly from the StarCraft subreddit, so I can't post on my own. If you guys could please post about this tournament being live, I'd appreciate it. Get a couple of extra eyeballs up in here. But we are getting into game number 3. Welcome back. Spawning here to the top right side of the map, we have the red Terran player. He is Future. And to the bottom left, we have the blue Zerg player, Cham. I want to also just run a small update since I have to get the Tiltify link open still. Where's this thing? Oh, it didn't work. Okay, donate in the chat. Sorry guys, one sec. I was trying to make sure we're not missing anything, and somebody did donate during that last game and I wasn't able to shout it out. It was Targus. Oh, he's gifted a bunch of subs in chat. He threw $5 into the fundraiser too. Thank you so much, man. Every little bit counts. This charity does help and focus a lot more on low-income families. So you know, a lot of people who are probably the ones out there marching are going to be the ones who we are helping, hopefully, at the end of the day. But yeah, we did a lot of research, and we really wanted to target the Greater Twin Cities United Way Fund, but Tiltify unfortunately doesn't have that specific detail in there. So the second link, if you guys want to donate to Minneapolis directly, is the link you want to click on. The first one will just go to general COVID stuff, and we've done really well. I'm so proud of this community. You know, it's a very small situation. We're not throwing out 8,000 viewers. We still pull in a little over $4 grand well before the round of 8. Tempo is going to be joining us for the playoffs, and I can't wait to celebrate with him the fundraising we've done so far, guys. It's been awesome. But yeah, okay, this game's picking up, and in a moment I'll start talking about it, I promise. Last thing I'll update with is, of course, the round of 8 will be drawn fully and entirely after the group today is done, so we know who's playing against who and where, and then most notably when, because the round of 8 date has been kind of up in air. We just need to see which players qualify through, which time zones, and who they go up against, so we can plan things accordingly. I appreciate everyone's patience on that, but all the info we're missing should be acquired by the end of tonight. Now, as the Reaper pokes around, there's not really a lot to grab right now. So typically the war we've seen develop is this Reaper tries to stay alive, kill maybe a couple Zerglings so they can snipe off the first creep tumor that this queen tries to put down. Having already scouted everything he needed to, the only thing this Reaper would be good for now is seeing maybe a quick roach swap, which is not something he needs to look for. So I'm gonna keep this bad boy alive. But we're back to normal pillars, and Cham gets to put his Overlord here a little bit more comfortably, seeing the base. Remember, on Death Aura, his Overlord was sadly not able to see anything of Future's base whatsoever. Oh, it is a Roach Warden. And a faster layer. Future hasn't seen any of this yet. And if this is going to be... Ooh, well, he goes for the creep tumor. He really wants it. Messes it up. Now with the Reaper going down, there's a very little to no chance he's going to scout this. And if Cham's going to hit it with something nasty like a Nidus Worm, this is a great map for it, because there's a couple of different spots in the main base. You typically have some dead space to be worried about. And if Future's doing the normal Terran thing, where he's thinking and focusing on getting Hellions and maybe a light bit of harassment while he takes a third base, then he might just find himself blindsided by this. It looks like he's going to put a depot or a command center, probably his third CC up here. So he should be able to see the top side. Once Cham scouts that, he may position the Overlord down a little south. People ask about the Tasia holdout challenge. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Team Liquid update, TLDR June 28th. I know it was supposed to be today, and I'm really sad it's not, but June 28th. Now the Nidus Worm is revealed and the SCVs are pulled. Unfortunately, while I'm burrowing, Nidus Worms have a little bit of bonus armor, so a lot of these units aren't hitting for much. But he pulls soon enough that he should be able to keep this from going down. No, transfuses immediately. Is that worth it though? Liberator's already set up on top of this. The Nidus Worm goes down. Queens are going down too before that Liberator goes down. And those Roaches, you're gonna wreck everything on the ground. Sure, but they can't shoot up at the end of the day. None of these are Ravagers. That Liberator cannot be killed. at least not in its current form. But another Nidus Storm goes to the main base. Siege tank on the ramps looking a little bit better than the Hellions we saw outside with the Nidus. Oh, Future's that race to the depot? What Cham tried to do there was kind of cool and kind of complicated. He moved the one roach over so that not all of them would be shot by the tank, and in doing so would give high ground vision to the other roaches to shoot up, but it didn't play out like that for poor Cham. Now, Future has not lost the game off this, nor has he won his position either. Cham's still working to pull him back and forth. You see roaches in the main base being one thing, but there's another Nidus from hitting to the natural. That's not that big of a deal. There's nothing there to really grab anymore other than like N and CV or two. But still, I emphasize, I don't think Cham's done enough damage yet. Future doesn't kill the Nidus in the main, which is incredibly weird to me. In fact, neither of these Nidus are really being dealt with, so that's why, oh, there shouldn't be this second attack happening, but it is. And you know, part of me goes back to thinking this was either a mistake or he was really worried about this being a bigger problem than it ended up being. Because this takes me back to game 1 where he just left the Overlord alive. You remember he got the Overlord down to 2 HP and then pulled the Marines away? And they just got to sit there over all of the production for almost 10 minutes? That's the kind of thing I fear just happened with that Nidus Worm. Future maybe thinks, oh, I said something to kill it, but complacency ends up not killing it. Look, regardless, the Nidus Worms have failed in terms of killing Future, but they've succeeded in terms of getting Cham ahead in this game. Several workers up at the moment, but also just he's getting the extra bases. He's looking pretty okay at home in terms of macro. He's getting that Spire out, so Liberators won't be a problem. If Future had an army to counterattack with, now would be the time to do it. But I say if so heavily because he doesn't. He lost a lot defending. Liberator starts circling around the outskirts of the map. There's no Spore Crawler down, which could be an issue, but with a Queen here to defend, like on minimum, I think this will be fine. At worst, maybe a couple drones will die or workers have to be pulled away temporarily, but oh, Cham has to be aware of this first. When he sees it, he just reacts very slow, so 4 drones die for this. 200 minerals down the drain. Plus, you know, larva. You know what sucks? I love watching pros pull this off, right? They know that they can get away with some damage and there's no need to overcommit. You can pull the Liberator back and maybe use it more later and get more kills that way. But for me, every time I give into the bloodlust and I'm like, oh, did I kill your queen? And now I'm going to set up over top of your larva. And then you just die for it, kind of like this Liberator did anyways. Vikings across the map killing some Overlords.
Just fucking talk about the game.
You might actually, well, I guess it'll be okay at home. There's a missile turret in each mineral line. It looks like there's one by production too. Future was ready for these mutas. Gilgo, thank you for the 52 months. Vikings would claim a second Overlord. This normally wouldn't be such a big deal, but Cham's actually getting awfully close to being supply blocked. He's not yet, but he's getting there. Another base on the way. I think this is going to continue to be a problem for Future, where he's going to have the numbers to fight the mutas in any kind of head-on engagement, but Cham's not going to give him that head-on engagement. Cham's going to do his best to just try and smack Future down at all opportunities in any opening presented. 52 months, holy shit. We got some long people here. I know Partoof and a few others are like right around 7 years or 72 months. Can ground Vikings target air? I kind of wish they could. I don't know who else feels this way, but I feel like the Gatling gun they have on the ground would be way better than their missile attack in the sky sometimes. But no, just to answer that seriously for anyone who doesn't know, no, you cannot. You have to transform back into your fighter mode. Like this guy here is currently doing it. This is about third Overlord going down. You know, a pulled Viking is usually okay in terms of efficiency, but it usually doesn't kill more than one Overlord. Getting 3 paid off this Viking. If he had killed a muta, he wouldn't have, but if he had killed a muta, that would have been even better. It's just free real estate at that point. More mutas are on the way. This is a style of Zerg that's really been coming back. We've seen the Koreans do it, we've seen the Europeans do it, and I don't get it, guys. I don't. Mutas, I don't think, are inherently stronger by any means because of the patch. Nothing that was changed on the other units opens them up anymore. This is just a phase that people have been playing recently, and mutilating banelings is a strategy that's old as Wings of Liberty itself. So I don't fault it. Just, I don't know, I feel like we haven't seen mutas for months, and then all of a sudden everyone's going mutas every single game. And the beauty about it is, I guess, no matter what stage of the game you're in, because they haven't changed, the same threats still apply. If you can get above 25 mutas, you can take on pretty much anything you want, Marines included. Muta count right now is sitting on 20. Not quite there yet, but it's still a very powerful force. The reinforcing wave should be able to handle this, I want to say. Ooh, a lot of this is still taking place on creep. Tanks siege up though. Most of the banelings go down. I mean, these Marines have all the power in this game. Well, there's no tanks remaining. The biggest threat here was arguably the mutas. Ooh, he's trying to roll back to his other reinforcements. He knows he's got more units on the line, and he doesn't want to fight those banelings on creep like this. Maybe without the mutas he would. Oh, this kid just leaving units barely alive. Well, there's a steady stream of Marines coming down the center of the map. Getting cut off by the mutas is a possibility, but Marines trade out pretty well versus mutas, all things considered. Takes out about 2 of them. Attack on the left side is looking for a kill on a hatchery. If he actually gets this kill, this will be huge. I don't think it'll cripple Cham out of the game, but with somebody with 74 drones, he's about to make a good 16 of those. He's rendered useless. You just can't mine more minerals than there are patches available. Ooh, little man in the middle turret looking for some kills. Buys a bit of time. Production for the Marines isn't quite holding up. As you can see, he's got to kind of pull back and cluster them together. The healing on these mutas, though, what little damage the Marines are dealing is just being shrugged off. Future has to bring his main army back home, because if he doesn't, then his production is permanently compromised. And the longer his production is stalled out like this, the better the chances are for Cham to make this game into a real play. And I'm not saying he can't with mutas, and I'm not saying he can't with Wings and banelings. It's just right now annoying more than anything else. There's a huge attack on the left side too. Got 90 something Zerglings rolling by, another 35 banelings plus whatever's being produced to follow this up. I think if Future gets the split, he's okay, but if this is any kind of just like A move composition into an A move composition, I think Future loses those fights. Especially considering there was past tense a fair bit of creep on the map. I'm not sure what's happened there. Maybe the queens got picked off, or Cham got a little lazy. That's a dead bite. Yeah, as I said, it's gonna get a little expensive on both sides, but the difference is Future can still mine, whereas Cham at this rate might not be able to. God, there's a lot of banelings though. SCVs tank a lot of the damage. Most of them escape. Nah, 21 still die. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. Well, we still have a pretty massive force pushing. Grabs the drone that was trying to take a hatchery. That was wishful thinking, Cham, I gotta say. But there's a lot of banelings at home. 34 of them to be precise. I feel off of creep, I see Future winning this battle. On creep, maybe not so much. Counterattack to the top also forces the next wave of reinforcements to go back to deal with it, meaning Future won't have those reinforcements on the front line. And if Cham recognized that right now, I think he might just go for broke on Future's army. He does start going to the middle a little bit. Alright, well, things have not been fully cleaned up. I think now they are. 9 SCVs on top of whatever died earlier. But still, Future's 9 SCVs are dead, but only 6 workers have been killed. Because it just hasn't... I didn't realize how little economic damage Future's done this game. A lot of it, you know, it's cosmetic. It's killing bases, it's killing hatcheries, it's killing army. Like, Cham, on the other hand, has murdered SCVs for a long time in this game, most notably recently with those banlings, but oh god, his reinforcement wave to the top is gonna get cut off here. Little scary, grab some of the mutas. Marauders are clutch in the situation. They don't have concussive shells, but if they can get on the front line to soak the hits, so much the better. But I do feel like concussive shells missing is a bit of a mistake. Oh god, Cham just got supply blocked into the Shadow Realm. So yeah, what Cham has here is all he's gonna have. He literally can't remake anything. He's gonna win this fight, but possibly still lose the game. Pushing into the natural, cancels anabolic synthesis, robbing ultralisks of their speed. Siege tank set up on the high ground, and he's gonna use this terrain against Cham. Cham's own defensive location is turned its head on him. And the tanks need to focus on the banelings more than anything else. The Marines are gonna struggle to deal with the ultras. I think he knows this too. But I mean, enough focus fire, you kill one, you kill maybe two, pick up the rest. Oh, this did some serious damage to Cham. He's on 66 workers across 4 bases, but some base is going to be oversaturated, and that's pretty oversaturated. I'm pretty sure he's going to hit the top left with that Marauder squad while he continues to harass in the main base. I like this, forcing the fight on the hive, saying you have to come to me, because if you don't, then I'll kill your base. And with that kind of a bait, he picks up and leaves. Top left, similar problem. Hatchery here's going to go down. Still no concussive shells, so catching these drones is a little bit more difficult than normal, but I mean, if he gets his hands on them, they're still going to get absolutely wrecked. Ooh, round 3 in the main. Almost gets the ultra. 1 HP. That's Zerg regen right there. Literally Zerg regen. Man, kiting back is the only option. There's no liberators to set up. There's no siege tanks. It is this awful game of hit and run with these ultras. Hive gonna get the focus down. Ooh, that's nice. Baneling's getting sniped too. Maybe a little bit. Nope. Picks up, gets out of there. Ultras on the top, going down. Remember, Cham can't rebuild like anything right now, so tapping out makes sense. GG. Future takes game number 3. But before people get too confused, I need to remind everybody that this is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So we still have another map at least to go through. A chance for Cham to come back. The map is going to be Golden Pillars. Now you'll see I've opened up, or Pillars of Gold. I've opened up the Stream Raider scene because I think we can go soon, but I think I'll play it safe and we'll wait till it fully ticks down. But yeah, for the StarCraft people who couldn't care less about this game, we're currently in the qualifier for a $20,000 tournament. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. There's actually a $20,000 tournament happening. So we're going to be pretty Stream Raider focused for the next week or so. But I didn't want to let that at all impact me trying to raise money for StarCraft and me trying to help some people who suffer from COVID-19. Or at least we know are going to be. It's scary though. Seeing that there's already Memorial Day numbers showing publicly, just thinking about how much worse it's going to be with the protests, having had so many people clumped up, and these people are protesting because, you know, police brutality, but also amongst many other things, they're not able to afford a lot of healthcare stuff either. So that's where we know a lot of this charity stuff's going to help out. Anyways, we're just in the lobby waiting. As soon as Cham is with us, we'll get into it. Speak of the devil, here he is now. Good timing, Cham. How much does the winner get in the Stream Raider tournament? $2,000 and another like several hundred worth of skins. Last place, 50th place, is worth $250. That is like they spread it out. It's pretty baller. They already did the first 14 invites and we did not make it in, sadly. But we have 2 more weekends to try and make it happen. Water break. 1 sec. Oh, sadly, my water is going from nice and ice cold to lukewarm. And I'm telling you, chat, I don't know what it is, but cold water just hits different. It tastes better. I can't explain it. Waves go in, waves go out. You can't explain it. Cold water just tastes the best. And none of that's relevant to this intro because we find ourselves on Pillars of Gold, another one of these new maps from the new season. And spawning here in the bottom left, we have the Red Terran Future, currently leading 2-1 and looking to close it out here because on match point, his final life, we have to the top right, the blue Zerg Cham. Once again, Cham sets out looking for proxy barracks. Now, look, guys, I've not been paying super close attention to Future's results and more importantly, his games in other tournaments. I don't know if this has been a standard thing where he's just been doing a lot of this or if this is instead Cham who's been feeling the burn of getting destroyed by proxies he didn't scout. Either way, just committing a single drone to scout like this is, I wouldn't say expensive, but still a commitment. Is the Stream Raider tournament actually 20k or is it 22k? This question is asked because the last tournament was 12k, but they called it 10k. I don't know what it is, but I do know that I want to get in because I love playing the PvP stuff in that game. It's infuriating as it can be at times. Well, I've been Wardy following this drone enough. Let's click elsewhere. Back at home for Future. It's a Reaper on the way and it looks like a command center in his near future. Boom. And Cham's Overlord moseys across the map. Once again, these pillars have been kind of shifted around a little bit. This one is still pretty close to the base, but doesn't let you see the main base if you hover over it directly. I don't feel like this is something that... It was like the High Templar change, where the High Templar got the auto attack. They just made the quality of life thing a lot easier for the game without, I feel, directly impacting the balance too much. And I feel this is very similar to me tactically where... Yeah, this may force people to play a little bit different if they want more scouting. But that's the thing, Zerg no longer get all the free scouting for free. They have to work for it a bit. I think that's something that's very powerful for a good Zerg player too. Like, don't get me wrong, watching macro and watching these other things, how these games play out, it obviously is not just about one single thing. But I do feel like whether it's Zest as a Protoss Korean, whether it's Cham in this game or whoever, scouting is, like, without a doubt the most important thing to do in StarCraft. Having knowledge well in advance of what to do, where to make it, and frankly where on the map to engage your opponent makes the world of difference for a lot of these fights. So as Zerg players start losing a little bit of vision here and the creep tumors become a little bit easier to clean up, that's where I fear maybe Zerg might start suffering too much. But again, this patch is so new, it's not even a week old. We'll see if these things become problems or not. We'll see what win rates look like across the board, and then Blizzard hopefully tweaks and changes whatever is necessary. I'm actually pretty stoked. If you guys saw the they announced the war chests, which is great, but they're also doing something really cool with Wardy for the war chest. If you guys didn't see, it's a Team League StarCraft tournament where apparently they're gonna have casters captain the teams and players play. I don't know who's playing. I don't know who's involved, but that actually sounds so fucking cool. I think I've been waiting for somebody to do a Team League like that for a while, so it'd be really awesome to see how that plays out. Ooh. 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 Anyways, my follow-up to that is with that announcement, I hope that whatever problems though are fixed before they do that. So, you know, you don't go pick a team full of like Cyril, Raynor, and a bunch of other pro Zergs and then have Zerg get nerfed to the ground through the maps and the patch. I hope all the things get sussed out before then, because I want to watch those games and I want them to be the best. But yeah, they're working with Wardy for it, and Wardy's he's got a history of doing team leagues for StarCraft, so I'm pretty sure whatever that event is going to be good. Plus, it's just nice to see the war chest back. You know, I think the longer we go without a war chest, the more StarCraft 2 feels maybe a little dead. Anyways, like, I've done a lot of non-speak because frankly this opening for Future's been mostly the same as the others. There's a difference though. Cham, rather than sit at home dealing with Hellions and Liberators, pushes off the Liberator and is now across the map with these Lings. And I think he's going for a Bane bust. In fact, I don't even think, I know he's going for a Bane bust. He stopped making drones a fair bit ago, and these Lings being built obviously would never break the wall on their own. They need a little bit of extra oomph. Now the funny thing on this is it takes 5 Banelings to kill a supply depot, but usually you have to send in minimum of 6 just because the first one's likely going to get sniped off. But he's built even more than that. He's a couple in his back pocket, so he should be able to fight whatever's waiting for him on the other side of this wall. There's no bunker after all. And oh god, by trying to save the SCVs, he may let the Lings into the base. He realizes this error. He has to hold position on the ramp now. Hold position with his SCVs. No, he's attacking with them. Either way, the tank is good. He holds, and Future wins the first series 3-1. Nice. Now look, I'm very much a fan of everybody in this group. So no matter what I say, it's always going to be a little hokey. Because frankly, I'm going to be happy with whoever gets through. Because I think the 4 players in this group are some of the best representatives in North America right now. Meaning, anyone who gets out of this group is going to make our round of 8 that much the better. Cam 806 wants to know, are you banned from Reddit? Not all of Reddit, just specifically Reddit StarCraft. All right, it looks like the Stream Raider battle is ready to go. So you guys go kill it over here while I go hunt down our other players, Nina and Silky, who should be coming up next. In fact, I already see them online. Perfect. Okay, that could work out. Sorry, have some sound? Oh, we turned the music off because of the epic thing last night. The Spartan Warriors. Why are you banned from Reddit StarCraft? I'll tell you what, later in the group, ask me again. I'll happily explain the story, but it's going to get me riled the fuck up if we talk about it now. And I don't want to get too distracted from what is going to be another really fun series coming up. All right, another map ready to go. We're going to hop off to a very brief commercial break. And when I get back, hopefully we'll know all the maps and get things going with Nina and Silky. So thank you guys for tuning in so far, but we're nowhere close to done. Second match of the day coming up soon. Okay, folks, we're coming back. I'll let this battle finish up. Why not? Speed it up a bit, though. Crucy's looking good with that spear, man. He's full Spartan right now. Crucy went full Spartan. Oh my god, you destroyed that, man. Okay. EU greater than NA? Hey. Hey. Can we get a ban on Crucy, guys? All right. Welcome back, everybody. It's a brand new series. Matchup has changed. Let me change the title of the stream to reflect it because it's Silky versus Nina. That's going to be a ZVP. It's a best of 5. That much hasn't changed. And we are now just waiting on Nina to let us know she's ready. I really appreciate this picture I saw on Twitter during the break, though, from Talden. Nina is not currently playing from home, from what I understand, but is instead with some friends in, I think they drove to Minneapolis, funny enough. Regardless, well, I say they, referring to like all the people. I don't know. I'm trying to do my best with the whole pronoun thing. I don't know who went with Nina or she went solo, but Talden tweets, finally I can go to a live tournament. Thanks, Base Trade TV. And I guess is watching from the other room or something. That's awesome to see. That's really great. Nina's having some audio issues. All right, we'll let her sort that out. Give it some time. I will take this moment of downtime to shill out for the charity because there's frankly not enough selling out for charities when it comes down to it. I have a Twitter out, or a Twitter. I have a tweet out. If you guys could please consider sharing and retweeting this. You don't have to donate, but if you could help us share and spread the word that this is going on, that would be really awesome. We are over $4,000 raised, moving on to our last stretch goal at $5,000. And if we have to increase it beyond that, I don't even know what we'll do. But the last stretch goal is I'm going to put future funding and tournaments money towards an Archon mode tournament if we reach the full 5,000. Now, to be clear, because it could be confusing to hear, I'm not actually taking any of that money from this tournament. None of the money you donate to those charity links goes through me at all. I never touch it. I never see it. That goes directly to the charities. So A, make sure you deduct it from your taxes. But B, you also know that it's not going to be used in any kind of illicit way to buy skins or gamble subs or nothing like that. Any future tournaments that come as a result of this come from our own funding from things like subscribers and skin sales and stream raiders. So if you want to support, go treat yourself to a sub, treat yourself to a skin. Maybe consider just donating to the charity. Help some people out. Regardless, you should be sure to check it out under the ! donate command. But with that mouthful said, we hop into game number 1. It's a brand new best of 5, and it's the second preliminary match of the day. Spawning in the bottom right side of the map, he is the red Zerg player. It's Silky. And his opponent to the bottom left, she is playing under perhaps not perfect conditions, but sometimes stress breeds victory. In the bottom left, it's Nina. So I don't know the exact story on this one, but Nina, for whatever reason, was one of the... Actually, funny enough, it's both Nina and Silky were the players who forced us to move our dates. Silky had a medical appointment he couldn't avoid for a very serious thing, and I was like, okay, dude, I understand. For Nina, she told me she was driving down to another city, and it's just like, cool. So the day of our original tournament, half the players couldn't compete. Rather than try and fill or do anything, everybody agreed, Future and Cham included, that they'd be available to do this today on Saturday. Not preferable for me, but that's okay, because here we are, and I'd rather get this group done than not, as I'm in full support of making this charity go as high as possible. I mean, to be honest, right now, we could get stalled out at 4.2k. Knock on wood, please don't let that happen. But I'd still be very satisfied. That's a lot of money we've raised to help people, and I know that'll go to some very, very good people in need. So thank you guys again, all those who have supported up to this point. But okay, ZVP, if you've been watching this matchup, I feel like we're seeing a lot of all-ins out of both sides. But the one kind of nice thing is watching the Protoss. Once upon a time, I feel like every build you had was kind of a potential all-in. But in this case, for Nina, nowadays we're seeing Resonating Blaze, for example, not be super committed, but instead more of an opener tech path. And things have developed and changed a bit. But as far as the matchup goes, and this is super worth talking about because of the patch, I think most all-ins aren't going to be as effective anymore because of the new shield battery change. And we've seen this a couple of times. If you watch Stay at Home Straight Cup, there's some great clips of Roddy laughing his ass off at it. I was super surprised by the first time we saw it the other day in groups. But the new shield battery is pretty much like a one-stop shop. For 14 seconds, every 1 minute, you can stop pretty much any attack you want. Now, after that 14 seconds, you can still die. But the new shield battery is kind of insane and ridiculous. So very good, very easy defensive hold in front of the bases. So I think we're going to see things really start to change. Whereas before, a lot of these Roach Ravager busts were kind of super simple all-ins Zerg could pull off. Maybe won't be anymore because of how powerful the new shield battery ability is off the Nexus. And with only a 1 minute cooldown, I feel like this is very, very, very usable defensively. But again, at some point it gets to the point where, you know, you can just like throw 5 corrosive vials on the shield battery and it dies, and then that ability doesn't matter. I'm just really excited for it. Not the play we're going to see today, not the play we're going to see next week, but what the meta for this matchup changes to, because for me, it's been pretty stale and very un-Protoss favored for a while. And it's hard to say that there'll be like the butterfly effect rippling out and making things all different, but maybe having a more secure early game means less all-in necessity out of Protoss, and maybe we see this matchup start having some win changes. I don't know. It's a lot to hypothesize about, hypothesize about, and I'm just excited to see what it turns into. Some of the patches in this patch were, or some of the changes in the patch were a little wonky, but nothing was super dramatic. So I don't think we're gonna see big crazy changes to the game. But it'll be very fun to see what this one turns into. Now, these poor adepts don't get much done. The Phoenix, I think, just killed an Overlord. Granted, almost died itself in doing so. And the adepts didn't kill really enough. Actually, not a single drone died. That was a pure trade for Lings. 2 adepts for 8 Lings isn't too terrible, especially because it looks like there was an Overlord that died with it. But I'm not a fan of this. Trap would do this for a while too, I feel. We'd watch him many times through GSL, and mentioned BlizzCon, he would just throw away his first 2 adepts. And Trap's not a bad player. Trap's a player you model yourself after. I've never agreed with that one play style. I feel like you could commit a little bit and still transfer out after trading up for some of the Lings, but regardless, I'm not here to be super critical, just noting that 2 adepts dying is always a little sad to see. You guys thought it was Friday? I'm not having a moment. Today is Saturday, right? Because I had to blow off some plans with somebody special to me today. Yeah, it's Saturday. Okay. I'm like, don't tell me I did this for nothing. No, today's Saturday. We are good. It's you degenerates in chat who can't keep up with the days of the week. It is Saturday, brother. Yes, today's Saturday. And then tomorrow is Sunday. And then more notably, Monday is ESL. And as Hard Revenge says, that's how I know the week has shifted over ESL. I thought this was a missed rally, but looks like Silky's actually very intentionally gathering up the minerals through the center of the field to open up this potential pathway. Does he know about the bottom base? He doesn't know about the bottom base, but there is a bottom base down here from Nina. This may be just process of elimination though. No third here, no third here. Well, there's got to be a third because a 2-base all-in would be hitting around now. So as Silky runs in through the back door, Nina does have units here to defend. This will not be something easily dealt with. Oh, I didn't even realize what Nina was doing. I didn't even look because it's like, it's an upgrade that you just don't look for. So hiding in plain sight, Shadow Strike. Actually, if I moused over this, it doesn't look like it at all. Look, guys, just normal Protoss build. It's blink, nothing else, nothing special to see here. Just blink, you know, good old Protoss and blink. No, it's DT blink. And I have to imagine, like, the things like Phoenix or Hallucination can provide the high ground vision Nina would need for her DTs to jump up, but there's also this part in the back that could work. So Silky's got a spine crawler down here. I don't think at any point I don't think the Dark Shrine was scouted. No. And you would just never ever guess somebody going blink DTs. It's such a not thing. Nobody does it really. Some cases, sure, versus Terran, it's warranted, and sometimes you go for it in the late game because why not? But early on like this, I'm sorry, unless your name's Fear Dragon, nobody does this. So this may or may not catch Silky off guard. He does withdraw back to the main base though. This is, I think, very acceptable to do because when you look at his vision, he's got the entire middle of the map seen through these creep tumors. If anything's walking down for an attack, he should be able to reposition himself with plenty of time. but he's not going to see the units that are actually coming for him. And oh my goodness, this many DTs, each of them hitting for 45, is just going to chunk anything they grab. There is a spore crawler in the main for detection. There's an overseer over here. Oh, if Nina waits, oh, this could be so bloody clever. Yeah, waits for the blink ability to be kind of off cooldown, so if she needs to retreat, she can. And if she needs to retreat, it's got to be out of the back through blink. Unfortunately, though, looks like a lot of these DTs are going to get caught. Managed to blink out with most of them. Okay, the range on blink is insane. I've never I've never had to measure that. I thought for sure half of those Dark Templar would never make it over the wall, but forget about it. No problem. They actually escape alive. That's a Colossus follow-up too. Interesting enough. I do feel like Silky's been given a lot of leeway though to run away with this game. And while Nina might be trying out some really cool tactics here, you know, double robo is gonna get countered by the Phoenix, or excuse me, by the Corruptors. So Colossus won't be able to stand for very long. That leads into the eventual regular Protoss late game, which is Broodlords and such. So I can't help but feel a little apprehensive about how this is going for Nina. She's on 4 bases though. That's very noteworthy. Money for Protoss is always a problem. Oh, ooh, that blink though. I mean, the issue is that there's still going to be an Overseer to see these, but the fact that the hatchery just got sniped kind of says it's okay to lose a DT here. Maybe not too many. Oh, were there bailing drops? I think there were bailing drops on the other side of the field. I'm so sorry. I was so enamored by these DTs because again, who goes blink DTs? But looks like some bailings killed a couple of probes, minimizing the damage. No, actually none. No probes died. What? I just saw a lot low and assumed they all died, but I guess maybe only one of the bailings went off. Okay, well, we have the air transition behind this. Double Stargates, a Fleet Bacon. I'm hungry. Fleet Bacon obviously could lead to things like Tempests or Carriers, but I don't know. I want to see that Templar Archives more than anything else. Because while DTs can lead to some Archons, Storms are going to be a really helpful way to deal with things like Banelings and Corruptors, and more notably Banelings. The Colossus can help a bit too, but remember, Banelings aren't light units. They don't take the bonus damage from Colossus, and oh dear. Oh, he sees the transfer back and he wants to grab her probes. She pulls him back away and Nina just barely keeps all this alive and good. But I haven't shown you guys the income graph because I myself have been too afraid to look at it. I think it's about time to see just how much more money Silky's had this game. Yeah, spiking very heavily in Silky's favor. That's going to be a lot of cash to work with. That's a maxed out Zerg army, but it's also going to be a maxed out army that has things like Broodlords in it. Now, there's actually enough Stalkers in play that dealing with the Broodlords wouldn't be too much of a problem, I feel. They also have 4 Stargates pumping Phoenix. I really, truly thought this was going straight to Carriers or something, and that's why I started going off about the Templar Archives. But in a weird kind of change up, if this is going to be a mass Phoenix late game build, granted it's got weapons on the way, this might catch Silky off guard. You have to consider Silky is not going to have room in his supply to adjust to what Nina's doing. Silky's not going to be able to, you know, suddenly make a bunch of Hydras or Queens or anything like that, or more Corruptors even. He's stuck with what he has more or less. And oh, these Banelings slip on in. They don't have +2 melee yet. Still get about 9 probes, so that's pretty good. Hey, Matos Machine just bought the Spartan Centurion. Now, look, I know Centurions are Roman, whatever, guys. We're memeing with it, but you just bought the Spartan. Welcome to the club, dude. Great skin, by the way. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, dude. It's an epic skin too, so it gets like massive when you use an epic potion on it. I'm so happy that it came out. Anyways, blinking over to the left side catches a lot of these Banelings. And as I mentioned before, there's a lot of Stalkers in play in general, so blinking under the Broodlords is not totally out of the question, even though it's definitely not preferable to do. That Phoenix count has been pretty well hidden, by the way. Nina stacking them, her Phoenix all on the bottom left. I don't believe Silky's had any knowledge or vision or anything of this, so it should be a complete surprise. My fear is, though, you see that upgrade that just finished up, Packaging Lance? that means infestors might come into play, and infestors could really screw over the Phoenix count, as Phoenix are best and most notorious for stacking up. I love these swaps out of Nina though, whether they work or not. Like, I don't want to take anything away from Silky by over talking about Nina here, but like, Silky's been responding to everything Nina's been throwing at him. Like, she's been dictating the pace of this game in a weird way. And a lot of this has to do with these very strange swap ups, but I like seeing these swap ups. You know, normally most players just go for one composition and make it happen or it breaks. But the DT Blink early on, the Blink Stalker mid game, now the Phoenix late game, which is still just insane. This feels like I'm watching a 2v2 tactic. And she's withheld on showing these for so long. She doesn't rush over to the middle of the map immediately upon getting caught out there. She collects herself, heads back, now has the Phoenix over here. And this is going to be the big surprise factor. No anti-air here to protect these Brood Lords. These are all goners. These are all super freebies. A Corrosive Bile is going to hit. Oh, actually killed 2 of the Phoenix, but Nina has so many, it doesn't really matter. So what's the change up here for Silky, right? He can swap. Oh, Bailey's still a lot of probes. He can swap up and start getting some air units. We see some Vipers, for example. That's going to be things like Parasitic Bombs and Abducts, but more notably Corruptors. The problem is, though, Anion Pulse Crystals, the purple laser beam of these Phoenix, actually outranges Corruptors. So the real answer to this is going to be through Spellcasters, I feel. Combination of Infestors and Parasitic Bomb, not just Parasitic Bomb alone. Oh my god, no way. So while this goes on, we have another swap up. Carriers will be what replace the Phoenix as they go down, but a massive attack potential here to the top. Now, I'm not sure if Silky saw the DTs. Obviously his units did, but he may not have been aware that she had those there. And the Overseer's brought back. The gold base is under attack. Main base is getting under attack too. These 2 Colossus have been paying off for a very long time in this game, I gotta say. Parasitic Bomb does come in and hits a lot of the Phoenix. This AoE damage needs to be dealt with. She can't stack. Unfortunately, she also takes way too long to spread, so most of the Phoenix fall in the first instance of the fight. But what are these Colossus at? 36 kills, 20 kills. The ground army falls. So while both players disengage, ultimately both players lose that fight, I feel. Because while this goes on, Silky's also taking damage down here. About to lose a base up here. Oh no, what? Those DTs should not have had the freedom to blink away like that. Well, regardless, Silky continues to play the respawn game. He's not been able to pull off any attacks really outside of a couple of baneling hits. And it's worth noting the baneling hits have been good. Silky's killed a considerable amount of Nina's probes, and she's she's expanding aggressively towards Silky. I kind of like this actually, because this means all of a sudden her new important base that she has to guard is also going to be where she's rallying a lot of the units anyways. Golden Wall could be a really cool map, and I love when it gets split horizontally. Oftentimes it's vertically in half and half, but by taking the bottom side under her control, Silky's forced to go north, and he does continue to expand north, but Nina's also catching him where applicable. I just want to remark as well, Nina's a good player, but Nina has not shown the greatest results recently. This game, I don't care if she wins or loses it. I'm suddenly like finding myself fond of this player all over again. Because the methodology here is not just like, okay, some DTs, some cheesy blink. It's the many tech swaps made, which Silky's had to respond to. But that's the problem. When you're responding to these swaps, then the person who is making them is usually one step ahead. Whereas if Silky was the one being the aggressor in this game, Nina would have to respond to him, and maybe it wouldn't look quite so simple as it has. But we have this big transition for the late game. I mentioned it earlier. Carriers were coming out and on the way. Corruptors are still a really good counter for carriers, and I don't think Nina can actually safely do this carrier transition. But with some Archons underneath them and a couple of Storms, suddenly the Corruptors are not such a hard counter. And if Corruptors dive in to focus on the carriers, they're going to take a lot of damage. I watched Roddy in a very similar position to this not too long ago, where just 2 Archons completely turned the game around for him. And that's definitely something that could happen here. There's no catapults in the game. Nobody wants catapults anyways. We want trebuchets. And if trebuchets were in this game, it'd be so broken. I mean, honestly, what are you gonna do? Trust some high-tech space machinery that could fall apart at any given moment? Nuts and bolts just pop out, simultaneously combust to move a 30-kilogram object 500 meters? Or would you rather trust a trebuchet? Tried, tested, and true throughout time. That's right. I don't even need to wait for your answer. I know what it is. And I too would pick the trebuchet 10 times out of 10. Anyways, some of you probably didn't appreciate that little rant while the fight was going on, but to be honest, nothing too remarkable happened in that fight, in my opinion. The reveal has been made as carriers, right? But Silky's not going to change what he's doing. He's already been building corruptors as a way to deal with it. But what you saw towards the end of that fight that I didn't quite mention was how much those corruptors were getting shredded by the ground units. The Archon, it just doesn't need much. 3 or 4 shots, splash damage 39, because it's all versus biological. Archons are really the kings of these late game engagements, not the carriers. Well, it's both of them together, but oh, the storm is good. Most of the Baileys die rolling into the fight. Stalkers blink up to the top side. Reinforcing carriers have made it to the front line, and while Silky has barely broken Nina's first wave, Nina's ready to go with the next one. In fact, the only thing missing from this would be Nina overcharging her shield battery. Honestly, I think would have made a big difference in these fights, but pursuing the fight forward, the bases were kept limited. The DTs had caused so much harassment that Silky had to invest literally thousands of minerals in various types of static defense throughout the game. All of that money not available here to beat army units, not available to save him in his main base. And Silky's income has been good, no question about it. But if he can't break this army, I don't know if he'll ever break her. In fact, same for Nina too, though. She doesn't have the money to rebuild these carriers if they get picked off. So this is pretty terrifying falling back the way this is. As carriers continue to get focused down, I ask, where are the Archons? Where are the Archons on the ground? Well, I know where the DTs and the Zealots are, and they're running around killing everything else. This fight, it's not a washout for either side. This goes so back and forth. Neither player again really wins this engagement, but where the win comes from is around on the other side, and like the damage done throughout the outskirts of the map. The gold base is denied, a couple of drones go down, tech buildings getting swatted at. This DT alone has 19 kills. In fact, 6 hatcheries have died in the making of this game. The resources lost definitely favors Nina, but it's still a very expensive game for her. And while she does have plenty of bases to work off of at the moment, wait a minute, I have cast a good chunk of games on this map, and I have never seen anyone mine the gold base from this side before. But I guess it makes sense when you think about it. Zerglings can't exactly run by. The roaches can't deny this, though. That's going to be a little annoying to deal with. But I feel like this is a pretty easy response, and that base is pretty non-committed. There's no gas, of course, which kind of sucks, but I don't think Nina's really hard up for gas right now so much as minerals. Granted, she's making things that are very expensive. She needs everything. But what I'm saying is, like, there's already all the Templar warped in, right? There's already Archons on the ground. At this point, like, more cannon fodder, more static defenses, and that's where the gold minerals, I think, are really going to be nice.
Will you please just fucking talk about the game?
I have been teched out, but thank you for the 30-month resub. The carrier's just going to sit over here and prevent the roaches from continuing to be a problem. Investing back into Vipers, though, I like the idea of some abducts in these situations. The problem is, though, even with abducts being an option, you still have the threat of, like, feedback from the Templar. That was another big change for Protoss in the patch. The feedback range is now, was it 9 instead of 8 or something? It got 1 extra range. So even though it's most likely that the abducts are still going to go off and what have you, it'll be a lot more difficult to pull off because of the feedbacks guarding this army. Really trying her best here to kill that last Ravager so that the probes can continue mining. Not the end of the world. We got some Zealots running around. I mean, the thing about Zealots is they're not on +3 weapons. So this affects the fight with the armor on Lings, but also affects whether they can even chew through the spine crawlers or not. Zealots are really good units, very tanky, very durable, and they do some high DPS, but they need upgrades to really shine. Meanwhile, Nina, she's got a lot of big tech buildings for Silky and Silky's supply block. Starks in chat wants to know, where is Graviton Catapult? Right, why is Nina not research Graviton Catapult? Carriers are so, come on. It's because it doesn't exist anymore, my friend. It hasn't for quite some time. When carriers got the HP buff, I think is the same patch they took it out, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's no Graviton Catapult anymore. Carrier DPS, it's not as bursty, but it's also still like questionably mediocre. I still stand by it's the Templar and it's the Archons that make this powerful, not necessarily the carriers. I can't believe Nina's taking this space, but this is so bold to do. Sorry, Corruptors are picking off a couple of the carriers because they are not protected by those units they just finished floating over. More tech structures are going down, but they're being rebuilt elsewhere. The problem is where they're being rebuilt isn't necessarily much safer. Feedback on the Viper coincides with the GG. Nina takes game number 1 after a very long, very hard fought battle. 23 minutes is no joke. In fact, that took so long that the next Stream Raider battle is pretty much good to go. So you guys have about 30 seconds to a minute to get in here. We'll run this one before the next map. So exclamation mark join in the chat if you want the link to directly join our little in between game battle thing. If you don't know what this is, all these little pixels are actually army units that you guys in chat have placed down. I can't make an army. I rely on you guys for these battles. So if you want to be part of this, you got 40 seconds to place down. Works for me. Silky needs a 2-minute break. This works out pretty perfectly. Okay, so Silky's gonna be our B. We'll run this battle and we'll rock and roll. Oh, do we have the Spartans over here? Yes, we fucking do. This is what I was talking about earlier. We got our brand new epic skin in the game, and Nuke War was repping 6 of these bad boys in a single battle last night. Do we have any small normie versions we can show off? Or is it just the big boys? I think we got all the big boys out. But I love it because it's got the base trade TV coloring for the shield and everything. It looks super good. All right, Spartans. I trust you guys to take us to victory. Let's kill this map. They're just so big. Like compared to everybody else, they're just so fucking big, dude. I love it so much. We have a lot of really cool fun skins in the game, and a lot of them are kind of Terran-esque. We put some kind of trooper type skins in. So for example, that's our not a Marine skin. That's our not a medic skin. And that's our not a Marauder skin. They all look great in comparison. Yeah, in the game, there's some very rare rewards where a streamer can get an epic skin, and that's where a unit turns into something different when you use an epic potion on it. And that's why these guys look so big. This is definitely not their normal skin. Their normal skin's actually quite small and, as I say, timid. Yeah, we unlocked custom death sounds. I still just haven't gotten around to doing them. All right, well, this is a win. It's just gonna take a minute because we've got to go suicide on top of these mines. These boys live too. I love it. They're so tanky, and they complement each other because their auras can stack, which is nice. Anyways, GG, easy win. Here, you guys can have the gold. You earned it. Oh, and it's a treasure chest. So this one will get started very soon too. At the moment, like I said, that we're just waiting on Silky to come back. Silky was restarting their router, so hopefully it won't be gone too long. And Nina should hopefully be back here shortly as well. In fact, it looks like they're already coming back. I don't love cocks. I'm sorry, I'm 5 years old, guys. I've heard really bad things about American internet. A lot of people are getting throttled and stuff during like the quarantine because they're like not prepared to deal with it and the infrastructure's not there. I got a friend with Google Fiber who says it keeps going down in like Salt Lake City. Sorry, I was actually confirming Cham wanted to know if you could start. No, we're casting all the matches today. We have 5 best of 5s in total to serve you all. And I plan to cast every single one of these games. Anyways, somebody remind me once we're like 5 or 10 minutes into the game and I can silently off stream start the free loot battle that you're currently queued for Stream Raiders. And I bring us back to the match. So it's game 2, spawning here in the bottom right hand side of the map. Hopefully his internet's working a little bit better for him this time around. We do have the red Zerg player Silky and his opponent to the top left. She is of course the blue Protoss Nina. And to avoid confusion, since I once again saw people asking, Nina is a player formerly known as Puck. Nina has decided that she wants to be a she and has changed pronouns and social media and stuff to match it. So if you liked and loved the player Puck, you will like and love the player Nina. They're just as awesome. The only thing that I can say is they suck at Zergling Clicker. Outside of that, pretty well-rounded person. Also, played a really solid game 1. I mean, honestly, that was cool. I really liked so much what happened in that game. And a lot of it for me was just the constant transitions, the constant swaps, the constant harassment too. I mean, you saw Silky exploded around the map with tons of expansions and still couldn't get enough out, couldn't fight, just dies. It happens when you fall behind. But regardless, I know Silky's also a good player because of the game he just played. But as I mentioned during that cast, a lot of what he was doing was reacting to Nina. You know, Nina throws out DTs, so has to build things to deal with those. While Silky deals with those, Nina's made a swap to double Phoenix. Like, just there's so much going on that Silky never had control of. And I think as a Zerg player, a reactive playstyle is not bad. In fact, it's pretty intuitive to the way a lot of the Zerg compositions and strategies work. But that was a game where that was a full, like that game was entirely in Nina's control. And it was up to Silky to wrestle that control away, but he never quite could. Ooh, guys, let's talk about this once and only once because I don't want to keep talking about it. Normally I would just ignore a comment like this, but I think it's worth addressing, especially because, you know, pride and all that. I'm not someone who's ever going to intentionally try to use the wrong pronouns, right? And I'm not saying you guys in chat have to follow that, but if any of you are in a insulting way or a derogatory way or on purpose using the wrong pronouns, then yeah, that's kind of shitty. And it's really obvious when you guys do that. But some of you are going to accidentally refer to Nina in the wrong way. I do it too. I'm trying my best here. It's been 8 years of calling Nina Puck and he. Now I got to say Nina and she. My brain just doesn't work like that. So we're willing to be a little bit, like, we'll say lenient on that as long as there's no hate speech, guys. Because I think a lot of people fall into my category where things like pronouns are still fairly new. And I accept that. And I'm not perfect. I'm going to try to be better. And I hope I give you guys the benefit of the doubt that that's the same case. But please, no hate speech while we're in this, guys. Let's enjoy some StarCraft. We do have the Resonating Glaives coming out with a Robo, possibly following up. We'll see how committed this gets. But I did mention in the last game, and I'll reiterate now, the Resonating Glaive upgrade used to almost exclusively be all in. And now it's very much an aggressive opener. You can send about 6 to 8 adepts over to the other side of the field.
Just cast the game already.
And get a lot of damage done by bouncing back and forth from base to base. And I think that'll be the goal of Nina. The Robo will add a little bit of flair.
What are you doing, Step Brill? Shouldn't you be casting the game?
Guys, come on, I'm trying. Where she'll be able to micro those adepts and be able to do some pickup too, which will be really cool to see. Regardless, thank you, Road into Dreams, for the 80-month resub. Oh my God, is that the new high score? 8 to the 0, 80 months of mayhem, madness, and mischief. All hail Base Trade TV. And I have some new fan art in the pipeline. Oh, that's so cool. I can't wait to see it, Ronan. Wills 1440 also comes back for their 3-month resub. Welcome back to you too. Thank you guys both for being here tonight. Ooh. Third base Nexus being planted down. On location without proper support was a little risky. And that's to cancel a pylon. Not the end of the world. While this goes on, Silky's also just had the freedom to scout as this Overlord's been left chilling in the main base. So as Resonating Glaives completes, the big thing I think Silky saw was that there wasn't actually like 7 gateways down.
Mate, just focus on the game.
All right, Roddy. Fine, I will. Thank you, Evil MacGyver. These adepts marching across the map aren't supposed to be coming home in defense, but unfortunately for Nina, they're going to need to. As she gets caught out in the open, it's gonna be a little awkward. Against Zerglings, no problem. Against Banelings, yes, problem. Oh god, it's gonna hurt. Sacrifices a couple of adepts so that the majority of them don't take the splash. That was actually a really good move. A good self-sacrifice. But the problem, there's no shield battery to overcharge in this situation. All the adepts are backed up into a corner because of the hiding from the lings. Sets up for the perfect spot for the Banelings to connect. But Resonating Glaives attacks so quick, and Nina, with such a few amount of units, is gonna hold on to this. But it is worth noting, this was not crazy committed out of Silky. He does have 46 drones. He didn't cut all worker production. He just temporarily stopped them to get some damage done. This didn't work out for him, but he's not done yet, as he's still gonna try Nina's defenses. But now Nina's got like some force fields. Ooh, that was a really good catch. Could have been better with 2, but you know, who's gonna nitpick? As well as some adepts. And remember, these Resonating Glaives make them attack faster, so even if they don't do bonus damage to Banelings, they'll still just attack them quicker and get them dead sooner, hopefully. Great force fields once again. Nad Ziranium? No, Nad Ziranim 159. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. I still said that wrong. Oh, but despite best efforts on my part and Nina's, damage still gets done. Feelings are hurt, and 9 workers go down. Not devastating damage, but still puts her in a bit of an odd spot. She's already been trying to move out on the map. That's like the 3rd time now trying to push out. Hopefully, no more interruptions, no more problems, and she'll get to commit to doing some damage. Because let's be very clear, Nina has won these first 2 or 3 fights in such a way that she has all these sentries, mostly which have at least 1. Some of them have 2 force fields available. Actually, how many sentries is this? This is 11 sentries. We're DJ Khaled numbers, guys, because you have another one. But either way, bad jokes aside, this is going to be a tough hold because all these Banelings can do crazy damage if they ever get to connect. But if they ever get to connect is dependent on these force fields. There's no Ravagers to break them right now. And frankly, there should never be the case where these Banelings get to touch this army. And if they do, that's Nina's fault. Two shots to kill a creep tumor. Yeah, it's 22 damage versus light, and creep tumors are now light. Actually, it'll still be 3 shots. It wouldn't be 2 shots. You need upgrades for it. Either way, the creep tumors die much quicker. The Banelings also do less damage to non-light units, but that won't matter so much here because most of this army are light units. But to be clear, they changed the damage values around a little bit. So Banelings do more damage to light units to compensate for their less like normal damage, but they do less normal damage. So things like Stalkers ideally die a little bit slower. But again, not so relevant right now because this entire army is like Sentry Adept. There's so much light on the field that Banelings make a lot of sense to go for in terms of defense, but connecting has been very difficult. Now, Ravagers are not energy based, they're cooldown based, so they will beat out these force fields eventually. Nina falling back, I think, is the right choice because pressuring forwards like this runs the risk that even if one force field breaks, that lets the Banelings in and all the sentries could possibly die. Oh, people are asking about War Chest XP. I don't know what their plans are this year, guys. They've only just announced the War Chest. I'm sure that if they plan to integrate with anything, they will. But it is worth noting that Blizzard's like officially not working with YouTube or Twitch in favor of YouTube now. And I know, for example, there's a Chinese tournament that recently lost broadcasting rights that Wardy used to cover. So that won't be on Twitch anymore, or at least it's not allowed to be or something. So I don't know if they're going to have a way for you guys to level the war chest by watching or not. But to be fair, you play like 2 games a day and you get the war chest maxed out in like no time at all. So I don't know. The watching XP is just kind of for me a nice thing, but I think that anybody who plays just the most moderate amount of game, like you play a 4v4 with your friends and lose, you still get the war chest XP. It's always been a cool integration though. I don't know what the plans are, but keep your ears out, guys. I'm sure when somebody hears about it, it'll be on Reddit, it'll be on Twitter, etc. This warp prism stalled out a little bit. It's bailing up here that's being chased, that's why. Oh, from the back end, that splash damage still reaches, huh? Okay. As the army moves northwards, though, that is a pretty big army out of Silky. It's got +2 weapons. There's just a lot of things going well for Silky, but at the end of the day, the same problem I think presents itself. There's going to just be like a lot of force fields to deal with. And while maybe the Ravagers can break a couple, look at this. Corrosive Ball's going to land. There's like more force fields that should be replacing it immediately. Colossus come from the backside. Colossus are going to wipe out everything on the field at this rate. And Silky's attack is trading out for army, so not so bad so far. Most of the sentries are gone, which is really unfortunate for Nina. But as I mentioned, those Colossus, they'll be the ultimate unit at the end of the day. That splash damage here doesn't give them a lot of kills individually, but reduced a lot of health from the Ravagers and the Banelings. I'm liking this matchup, by the way. These two are on some pretty similar levels. Seen a lot of really good gameplay out of both. How many sentries are left, actually? There's 7 left. Oops. Ooh. 7 left and 7 died. So 7 up, 7 down. Heads up, 7 up. I always hated that game, by the way. I was so bad at guessing who picked me. I would always, I think that was probably, you know what? Oh my God. In this moment, in this cast, I've just realized that's probably my first like memory recording of anxiety happening to me. Would be playing Heads Up, 7 Up, trying to guess who picked me, and like wanting it to be like either the girl I had a crush on or my friend, and then having it not be them was devastating. Welcome to StarCraft therapy, folks. Did you not look at the shoes? You were supposed to close your eyes. Why were you guys cheating? All you guys who looked at shoes were completely disingenuous to the spirit of the game. Shame on you all. SMH my head. Oh, force fields have got to be good here. There's a lot of corrosive biles raining, so it's not about just spamming force fields. It's about timing them appropriately. The worst thing Nina could do would be waste a very precious force field as the corrosive bile is already landing. Corrosive bile, though, is being used for its intended purpose of breaking force fields, which is awesome to see, though. Silky's handling this very well on his side, but still, there's just so many bloody force fields. It feels endless. It's like that one mini game in Raider Party. God, it's just like too many force fields. Get to the point where you start pushing your allies through the walls, you know? Oh God, that game's so ridiculous. The range for the Colossus are helping a ton. Big damage going out. Greg's back. Oh, the Banelings do sit. Oh, they're getting to the center of the army. The Colossus might start taking some damage too if they're not careful. Warp Prism Micro is going to help dodge some of the corrosive biles though. And those were some quick, slick pickups out of Nina. Holy crap. I think we're about to go megaphone. Because I'm losing my goddamn mind casting this, and it's ridiculous. So many kills on so many Colossus. Nina pushes in one more time, but there's no Banelings ready. They're all just finishing up. The amount of Colossus in field right now is still sitting on a big solid 5. And that 5 Colossus count just needs to each blast once, and every unit's gonna fall apart. Even the Roaches, even the Ravagers. Big shots hit. I think the Warp Prism's still alive. So reinforcements are on the way. The Stalker Corpse gets kicked, but who cares? Silky might have a similar army supply to Nina, but he doesn't have the same type of supply. These lower tier units are just not keeping up. Kiting backwards, the Zerglings just turn into burning corpses on the ground, and that Warp Prism works its magic, picking up these Colossus. Oh my God, is Nina gonna lose a single Wildcat Coupler? Starting to go down. It's getting a little bit tight here towards the end of the fight, and because this Warp Prism's in dance mode, it's not reinforcing. But this Colossus still stands. 35 kills, 14 kills, 32 kills! And now it's time to go for the throat. Roach Warren's right here too. Okay, that's enough megaphone for now. Even that starts hurting my head, but what a fantastic fight. This was so sick because not that Nina won horrifically one-sidedly. Oh no, she loses the Colossus to Broodlings of all things. But I was going to say, because Silky almost made that work. This game has been so tight for both players. It's ridiculous. Even now, I don't see a clear winner, but oh, it's looking good for Nina, make no mistake. This Warp Prism, as long as it's alive, should always keep this Colossus dancing in the back. And that's why these haven't gone down. 40 kills, 21 kills, not to mention the endless Stalkers warped in with this. And what I think the big thing Silky's had going for him is a big econ lead. He's just been having a lot more money. Nina's playing way more cost efficient. Look at the resources lost right now. This is incredibly one-sided. It's a good thing these Colossus look so dang cool. Otherwise, I'd be super mad that they were being so good. Now, there's one big drawback for Nina. She hasn't made any attempt for a 4th base this game. So I kind of feel we're at this point where if Silky breaks Nina, there won't be recovery. The Warp Prism almost going down. Oh my god, this thing is 5 HP. It flew over a Spore Crawler. It had a Queen shelling away at it. And if that Warp Prism went down, Nina may have had to even initiate a recall. Warp Prism still might go down. Snipes it from the backside. Last shot gets it. Looks like the nerf didn't matter, guys. Force Field should still be able to block out the ramp. Nina is gonna, well, actually maybe have to go home sooner than she expected. A run by manages to slip by. There's no shield battery here. Oh, Probe's gonna start going down. She may say this is acceptable though, because her economy hasn't been her strong point anyways. She takes out some pretty valuable tech. The Zealots will find this base that was sneaking in up here. Oh my god. Main base is getting wrecked too. These Zerglings are a little too good with their +2 weapons. Warpins are not cutting it. Nina has to make a very hard decision right now. Either base trade and fully commit, take that gamble, or go home and survive. I feel like every second that goes by though, go home and survive becomes less of an option. But the weird, funny thing about this is because of her limited base count, the amount of probes she has right now is actually completely appropriate for the amount of mining she has available to her. Remember, she doesn't have 4 bases. She doesn't need 80 probes. She's actually fully saturated with what few mineral patches there are. So there's a timer on this game. And I don't think this goes past 20 minutes, no matter how this plays out. But regardless of whether I'm right or wrong, it is getting down to the wire. Okay, there's the recall. Saves most of the units on the other side of the map. Nina has devastated Nina's tech. She's reset it mostly, if not almost entirely. And the army is still in shambles, but both players are sitting at a very similar army count, as they have been for nearly 5 minutes straight. Nina's been attacking for 5 minutes straight, and Silky nor her have secured a lead. But I feel very strongly that if Nina either goes for a 4th base or uses things like disruptors very, 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 very well, this game should still come to an end one way or the other. I'm thinking at this point, the money game is going to be what does it for Silky, but the cost efficiency's seriously been off the charts. Might it go past 20 minutes now? Asks Cranky Hero. I don't know. I still think like it's a tough call because Nina's not expanding. She's not able to either. There's creep blocking over here. There's a Zergling up here. She's going to starve out of this game in a couple minutes. It's one of, okay, so look, here's my thoughts on it. I don't think the game will come to an end like GG tap out in 2 minutes, but I think it might be one of those situations that no matter how much longer she plays it out, any units she makes, she's not going to be able to rebuild. So it could still just be the game was over at 20 minutes, even if it drags on to be 30. You know what I'm saying? Look, it doesn't matter about being right or wrong. Decisions have to be made. Oh, that was a big disruptor shot. And Nina's up in army supply right now. So I really think this is not going to be a game where Nina starves out. I think it's a game where Nina kills Silky, but has to be very cautious and careful about doing it because she knows, I think as well as we do, she's not remaking a lot of these units. These are some of the last warpins coming in, as these mineral patches have like, looks like about 2,000 minerals maybe between all the minerals she has available to her. No mistakes. Silky loses a base to the top. This has the Roach Warren, the spawning pool. He's rebuilding it elsewhere. Oh god. And there's still crazy disruptor waiting to go off. Force fields come down, blocking this out. Ravagers break said force fields. And that, oh, this Warp Prism, it's looking for the big shot. Unfortunately, too risky, has to pick it up. Bit of a wasted shot there, not the end of the world. Continues to drag back that Observer. So dangerous on the front line like this. Oh my god, there's still so many banelings. This is terrifying. These 3 Colossus should be so much scarier than they are. 84 kills! I don't know the last time I saw a Colossus with 84 kills. Anything that gets up, there's usually dead. 84 kills on this Colossus. That's not just creep tumors. You know that's Zerglings and drones and banelings and real deal units. Incredible. We're gonna keep this Colossus selected. I'm sorry, we're just till the end of the game. I need to know whether this boy lives, and more importantly, how many kills it has. Okay, this is the attempt for that expansion I had mentioned earlier. Something absolutely necessary, but you know, time is continuing to tick. Nina can't long distance mine this game. Silky can't keep this up for too much longer either. We're past the 20-minute mark, and this game's still going on, and that means more fighting. But this is so close to breaking. Every time Nina walks in, she just drags those Colossus beams in and kills like a handful of units, and Nina loses like a stalker in retaliation. Oh my god, there's more disruptors. I didn't realize she had kept producing disruptors while this was going on. 65 kills on that Colossus, 89 on the big one, 3 disruptor shots. Silky down to 50 something supply. Oh, grabbing the Ravagers is GG. 90 kills on that Colossus at the end of the game. And map number 2 goes to Nina. Holy mackerel, though. That Colossus was a hero. Before I even host the next game, I need to ask Nina if she knows how many kills it had. Also, here, Stream Raiders, while I do that, give me a sec, guys. I know it's muted. Did you see how many kills that one Colossus had? How many do you think? Before I answer. All right. What's the next map? Eternal Empire. And this is 126, 90, but still, wow. Okay, let's get the loot out. The lobby is up. Oh, and now we're on the boss. Sick. If you guys have never played Stream Raiders before, you're kind of like, maybe I want to, maybe I don't want to, I don't really know. Here's the thing. This map is guaranteed to drop purple scrolls, epic loot. It's the only map that's guaranteed to do it. So I encourage you to join us. If you're a Spartan warrior, let's bring up the rear. Okay? Spartans to the bottom if you got them. If you don't, no big deal. Everyone else just place something, anything on the map. While this goes on, let me see what's going on with Silky here. All right, we're having a conversation with Silky, guys. This may take a moment. Sorry. Is it drama? No, it's just internet problems. It's you guys can see this wall of pink text like in the top left. It's just me talking about the internet. You're not missing anything too phenomenal here. I'm just trying to see what he wants to do about it, because he's claiming that these spikes are making it like impossible to play. And you know what, like that's not even an excuse. I've been there. I know how bad the lag spikes in this game were. I apologize, people, for the downtime. Please accept this shit post, I guess, while we wait. Oh, I can't even play that. That's not even gonna work. Here, have a montage. We'll be back in a minute while we try and figure out what's going on.
No way! He's gonna hit with the Vipers! No! Oh my god, Cheeto just lost like 50 army supply.
One baneling? Does that do enough damage?
They're so stemmed!
Oh my god!
Doesn't really gain much ground with it. Whoa, what is
Whoa.
this?
Whoa.
Whoa. Go in space!
My people need me!
Bane drop, I like that. That's one way to get past those force fields, of course. May as well use the tech if you've already got it. Yeah,
They're donut and stacked up and able to Bane raid! Oh, he gets almost all the sentries with that. GG. Guys, oh, is this good game? Oh, shit, that was so gross! I loved everything about that. GG Raider!
This is gonna be so sick.
He's gonna. But hey, then maybe Jason can force like. Maybe Jason
Well, the
can go a
recall-
lot with his movies.
Rico's also huge on the mothership, right?
Rico.
Yeah, recall aggressively and then recall back home.
No, he's dead. He's super dead, mate.
Super dead. There's an emote for this. He's really hoping this gets 2 kills. And it just might.
Wow.
Oh my god, that Maroon is actually so worth it. This SCP got the kill too, by the way, hype to him, but
The second
I can't believe that worked.
they just get tapped
No,
out.
he won't because it's the tap out. Oh my goodness, innovation.
Down from 33 meters to 11 though over the course of these 2 fights.
Oh my god, I didn't see that at all. Fly! Fly, you sicko!
There it is. That's game.
Oh, fly, oh god.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Let me
the
come
mutas
off,
have.
but
He needs
Denver's
one more.
own mutas are also about to be stacked. Nope, they're too spread out. Denver
Oh
wins.
my god. I just threw up in my mouth. That was like 10,000 supplies. Islands probably anyways. So they're just kind of stuck out here. They can't make it through the front doors. They're changing hold position out of our body. Oh, that's so sick.
Here, give me one of your hands. One of your hands. It doesn't matter which.
I have to get into this.
I'm gonna do this trick where I'm gonna take your hand and I'm gonna move it, but without touching it. Okay? I'm gonna have my hands like this.
Okay.
You're gonna put your hand in the middle,
Okay.
and without touching it, I'm gonna make you move your hand. Okay?
Mind control?
Put your hand in the middle.
Okay.
No, the other way around.
What? Oh my fucking god.
All right, guys, we're on the map.
I can't believe I fell for that. Are you kidding me?
It's acid
Oh.
plant. We're hopping into game 2.
That was like some 200 IQ plays from Rifkin right now.
Okay, that last clip, still, I'm a genius. So here's the news. Here's where we're at. Silky is forfeiting this 3rd match versus Nina, giving Nina the full win walk to 1st place versus Future. And normally we would do the losers match first, but wanting to give Silky some time to calm down and hopefully his internet maybe settles a bit for him, we're gonna put the losers match second. So to be clear, I think Silky wants to forfeit everything because the internet's causing too many problems, but we very much would like for him not to. So we're gonna give him some time. So we're rearranging the match order slightly. It's gonna be Future versus Puck. Excuse me. Future versus Nina coming up in a moment. They're gonna have to do vetoes and we're gonna have to get things sorted. So we're gonna go to a proper break. It's really unfortunate, and I'm sorry about this, guys, but I think this is the best solution because I really just don't want to see Silky just leave. He's better than that. He's a good player and he doesn't deserve it. So not much you can do when it comes to internet. I gotta go coin flip. So before I go to commercial break, someone give me heads or tails for Nina. I'll go coin flip this and we'll get things sorted. I'll see you guys in a few. Tails it is, Jeroboam. Okay, folks, we're almost back to it. We have the maps. We're gonna get this next one hosted. I'm really feeling bad for Silky. Sorry, let me mute that. It's not even like I'm a little annoyed that he has to deal with the there's like a forfeit for the tournament and stuff, but I definitely feel him for the internet problems. And oh my god, you guys dogpiled in here. All right, maximum speed, kill each other, last man standing, so we can get back to the StarCraft. But I'm hosting the lobby as we speak. We got players in here, and we'll move on to the next best of 5. So yeah, unfortunate, but at least Silky, I was able to talk him into not forfeiting the entire tournament. So he's only forfeited, just to be clear, guys, he's only forfeited the match versus Nina for now. Oh my god, Ham won? Get the fuck out. He's only Silky has only forfeited the match versus Nina for the time being. And if he feels the need to forfeit everything, I can't stop him. But I'm hoping that won't be the case. So all right, well, players are ready, so let's just move on to the next series. 1,000 bits from Ham. 1,000 bits going directly towards our charity relief. Thank you so much for that, Ham. But yeah, as I mentioned before, and I'll re-mention now, we are doing this for charity, and we've been collecting bits over the week, and we're going to make an additional donation later with said bits money, but we'll worry about that later. For now, we hop into a brand new best of 5. This is the winners match. And I want to give a quick shout out before we do anything about the game to the esports crowd that is growing.
All right, mate.
Cheering on Nina.
Enough selling out. Just focus on the
No,
game,
Roddy, not right
please.
now, because I want to quickly show off this amazing screenshot that, or camera shot, Pearl has sent in. Everybody's just chilling, having a party, watching Nina play. So here you guys are up on the big screen. While I look at you guys, watch me on the big screen with some screenception. Thank you for that picture. That was awesome to see. But oh boy, all right, this one's off to the races. Top right, it's Future. Bottom left, it's Nina. But Future, of course, isn't staying at home. He's planted a barracks in the most obnoxious proxy location, right in front of Nina's face. This could be very unfortunate for Nina. We'll see how she handles it. She's building in a way that's supposed to block out Reapers, so if it was Reapers, would help limit the area they could come into the base from, but Future might just walk right in. Bunker might go down here as well, but it is 2 gases, so I have to suspect that there's going to be a factory at home and a Reaper coming out of this bad thing. Because no matter how well prepared a Protoss player is, and Nina's good at reacting, you still have to build a Zealot to reduce this damage. And there's no reason to think about building a Zealot unless she scouts it. She doesn't scout it. She takes the Nexus. Oh my god, no way. Okay, now sees it. Oh my god, that little blip though doesn't see the bunker coming down behind the mineral lines. Oh my goodness, so obnoxious. Ham, by the way, don't think I didn't see it. Thank you very much for gifting those subs in the chat. If you guys just got a sub from Ham, make sure you say thanks. I'm calling you out, Black. Good to see you today, by the way. I didn't know you were in chat today. What happened? Okay, I don't want to do another big recap, but if you guys missed out, Silky forfeited. That's it. We'll talk more later, because this game is going to get hot. The probes being pulled away to deal with the Reaper is itself damage being done. It's significantly less mining going on. Not to mention the fact that at any point this Reaper may kill 1 or 2 probes. Now, typically, if there's no Zealot defender for this Reaper picks up 2 to 4 probes, depending on how things go. But what's interesting is with this bunker having been placed over here, a Marine normally has no place. The stock would kite it down, it would die for nothing. But with the Marines going into the bunker, this Nexus is actually under granted a very small amount of pressure, but pressure nonetheless, meaning Nina has to engage this. It can't simply ignore or kite away. So this is a situation where Future has really turned the pressure up. There's a Cyclone following this up. There's a command center on the way, so it's not even super duper all in. I love the idea of the Stalker trying to catch the Marines going to the bunker. The Reaper heads back to the main base. This has now killed 3 probes, 4 in total. Pretty nice amount of damage done. But with the shield battery finished up, the Nexus can overcharge the shield battery, and that shield battery can take that Nexus back to full HP. There's no world where this Nexus should die. But my concern is because the shield battery overcharge ability is new, Nina may not be thinking about even needing it. I would probably rather spend the energy on like a chrono boost. But can we just talk for a second about the juke micro that's going on right now as Future continues to repair the bunker? He's been hopping inside, and every time those stalkers waste a shot and miss the SCV, it's the difference if that stalker even dying or not. The bunker dies without a salvage. That's unfortunate. The Marines are gonna get cleaned up, but Future completely disrupted stuff on this side of the field. And back at home, as I mentioned, he wasn't all in. He took a command center. He's built a Cyclone. Any counterattack that comes down the middle of the map won't cut it. Cyclones are the best early game 1v1 units. 2 Cyclones versus 2 Stalkers, the Cyclones win every single time. Barracks being made. Production will continue down the route of bio. And we should have a Viking finishing up shortly. Who's everyone's favorite StarCraft caster? And then people get sad that nobody named me. But that's because everybody here knows that I'm a field reporter. And nobody cares about labels or who your favorite streamer is. Thank you, guys. Yeah, even with the shield battery topping these up, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Cyclones, there's no fighting them outside the range of this gateway,
Mitch,
essentially.
could you find it in your heart to cast the game?
I absolutely can. Logan X, thank you for the 13 months. Back at home, a bunker was made, and I believe this is entirely just to play safe, not to play scared. With his Cyclones out on the field, there's not really a lot for Future to be really worried about. Anything that comes at him, he should be able to handle. Now, granted, what Nina is doing is terrifically Nina. This is such a staple thing for her to do. Granted, in the past, it was Colossus. I've been watching her do this ever since like Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm type era. But nowadays it's a disruptor, and like regardless of what it is, oh my god, it relies on the Warp Prism. Oh, you sent the disruptor shot. Do you have any idea how difficult that is to do? The disruptor fires so quickly, but this recall saves the disruptor, kills her Warp Prism, which in turn kills her attack timing. So while this was really cool, the investment here is sort of wasted because Warp Prism's speed was part of the build. Gravitic Drive is going to benefit Nina for the rest of the game, don't get me wrong, but she's not going to hit the timing to kill things the way she wanted to. And that Cycle gets the Observer too. Oh my god. This is so wild to me because Nina just played such a phenomenal game versus Silky in 2 matches back to back. And then versus Future, now Future's the one making Nina look a little silly. At least so far. But in fairness, there's been a lot of weird substandard stuff going on. And Nina's been adjusting to it, I think, very well, all things considered. Rifkin's my favorite field reporter. Pog, thank you, Bardino. One time I'll allow mod spam. No, it's bad when you, okay, so sorry, I'm gonna talk about non-game stuff for a hot second. These questions are kind of like loaded, and I think in most situations, in most like categories, if you were to ask what's someone's favorite unit, there's no judgment with it, right? But when you ask who someone's favorite caster is, oh, there's so much to consider, and it's really stupid. I don't think it's a very good question, but I think a better question would be like, hey, I really like Artosis. Who do you guys also like? Because when you ask who someone's favorite is, it creates judgment without even like anyone answering. So I see these questions pop up on Reddit all the time. People troll about it too. Like, it's not a bad question. It's just always asked so poorly, I find. My answer is probably Tasteless in Artosis, though. And if I have to pick one over the other, Artosis. Oh! Disruptor gets a pretty good shot on the siege tank. But that going down, it's not going to prevent the Cybercore from falling. Oh my god, the dancing through this right now is ridiculous. I think Future is trying to kill the disruptor. If you kill the disruptor before it detonates, you can cancel the shot, but easier said than done. Now he's going to pick up and head to the main base. These Widow Mines will continue to zone some of these units out. The disruptor used on the siege tank does kill it, but oh, depowers the Robo. Oh, kills the Robo straight up. Goes for the other one. Snipes off the pylon too. No cancel available. Pick up in the medevac. Pick up in the medevac and gets the Robo. He's out of control. Future does so much damage with this attack, mostly to the tech of Nina. She recalls preemptively to the top side to get a flank in over here. Half the units come in for the north, half the units push in for the natural. This squish effect's not quite working out for her the way she wanted it to, but it was a cool maneuver nonetheless. Oh yeah, there's no armory. So the Widow Mines don't have indefinite stealth. Oh, no way. If Future gets +1 armor tonight, this is big. There was past tense a situation where Nina could fall back to Zealots and rely on those with armor and charge. But with that armor upgrade being reset, the Zealots are no longer nearly as powerful as they're supposed to be. And the follow-up's double Robo to make up for it. But, you know, the resources... Oops, excuse me. The resources lost is traded fairly even up to this point. So Future's not definitively ahead, but he's winning a lot of these battles. And that stuff's going to start snowballing. Maybe if not right now, later on. Where are you guys feeling right now? Is Future going to win this or is Nina going to defend? I'm really on the fence personally. Oh, although this might change my mind. This might change my mind. There's a lot going on right now, so Nina might not be looking. And Nina's not looking means there's a lot of probes that are going to die. Maybe. Okay, these were some weak-ass Widow Mines. Let's be real. That should have done so much more by all means. 6 probe kills is still not bad. That's a good trade for Future. Liberation Zone set up. Disruptor fires through them. The Ghost Academy is coming up, so we're going to see some enhanced shockwaves at some point. 2 sentries are sacrificed there. That was a mistake. That was a no-hold position mistake. The 2 new Liberators come in. This leapfrog is going to force the Stalkers to engage. In doing so, commits under the Liberators. Most of the Zealots taken away, though. I mean, these Marauders are going to be the trump again. Oh, the trump card against these Stalkers. Targets down that Disruptor. Big punishment for getting those kills in. Targets the other Disruptor. Now it's just Gateway units, and Gateway units typically don't beat Bio. Well, you got enough Zealots, maybe, but cutting this back shouldn't be too problematic. There are concussive shells. As you can see here, that's just netting more kills. And what was a pretty back and forth game has started to really favor Future. I'm just screaming in my head like, yo, shield battery, photon overcharge that. Well, I guess she did at some point and I missed it. Somewhere, some way. It's a 1-minute cooldown though, and it's already halfway up. That's gonna help a ton. If you guys don't know how this new ability works, by the way, it makes the shield battery heal 100% faster, which, by the way, it already heals wicked quick. And not to mention, for the 14-second duration it's active, that shield battery doesn't actually use any energy, so you can unlimitedly recharge stuff. To give us some funnier context, you can have a whole army engage, but whatever the shield battery is healing is going to be the only thing standing at the end of the day. Actually, even better, if you guys remember, there's a very brief period of time where Medivacs had a blue beam upgrade to double their healing, and units that were healed by that just could not be killed by anything in the game. That's essentially what this upgrade is, or this ability is. Oh. A little awkward getting caught over here in the force fields, but the Colossus can't really push him to engage. Liberator comes in from the backside. Stalkers immediately blink over to position to deal with it. In doing so, allows the bio to break free through these force fields. The Ghost gets sacrificed to the front line, but not before EMPing a majority of Nina's units. Photon shield battery overcharge is available. Not necessary, though. Stalkers are picking off the Medivacs, but the Stalker blinks are on cooldown because they blink forward to the Widow Mines, and these Marauders kill some more. Oh my god. Be still my beating heart. This game. Aggressive and crazy from the get-go. Planetary fortresses set up. Third base is the orbital. Future's got a pretty good rally coming down the middle of the map. OSC's production feels like maybe a couple more barracks would be great, but his macro's been on point. His army supply is huge. I can't fault him for what he's doing. Oof. Well, +2 weapons is finishing shortly for Nina. That's going to give her Colossus a fair bit of power, as well as some of the Stalkers, but regrettably doesn't aid the Disruptors at all. The Disruptors are, I'm not going to say entirely luck, because they aren't, but they are very influenced by luck and whether those shots go off or not. Future maybe makes the wrong misclick or clicks the wrong way or picks up in the medevac, which then gets sniped by the stalkers. There's just a lot of ways this could go poorly for Future, but very likely will not. Also have a Zealot run by to the top. 6 Zealots in total. That's going to be some dead SCVs at this rate. Just talking about favorite maps. You know, I'm trying to find a map maker right now. I want to commission a map. I want to make a map that we can use in our tournaments, and I don't want it to be super wild and crazy and anything experimental. I just want to aesthetically control the way it looks. So I put a tweet out earlier, but if you guys know any map makers, I know a lot of people tagged that one girl, but if you guys know any map makers, I'm just looking for everybody right now because I don't really know who's still active. Because map makers are not exactly social creatures, I guess. I don't see them on Twitter all the time. I don't know how to describe this better. I don't know who's active and who isn't. But I'm hoping we can make a cool map. That'd be awesome. Because we did that back in the day. Avex had that one map we played on all the time. That's really fun. Ooh, quad drops. We're looking for the main, but scans ahead and sees the stalkers. That's a big nope. Accidentally setting up a concave over here. The ghost dives in way too deep. Future gives that bad boy away. That was an expensive thing to misclick up the ramp. More command centers are coming down though. I mean, 4 bases to 3 is already pretty favorable for Future. You know, he's been maxed out for a lot of this, but I'm more concerned about Nina starving out. You know, the thing about Protoss is when they chrono boost probes out, they get them out for the early game economy, right? Spikes up for the Protoss, but then starts falling apart as the Terran get mules and macro themselves. So all Nina's really done by having more workers available early on is mine out more minerals sooner. And about 2k behind right now. That's gonna really start hurting, but these disruptors are gonna be very difficult to deal with. There's no more Liberator support. If the Vikings pick off the Colossus, then maybe they land and get some shots in too, because, you know, they do bonus damage for reasons. Because reasons versus mechanical. The nice thing about Nina is she has so many disruptors that she can pretty much fire them relentlessly and effectively have no cooldown. But the downside is there's 29 Marauders. And if you guys haven't played this matchup, or maybe you're just coming back to StarCraft recently, these are units. The Marauder is good against literally everything Nina has, and that's the majority of Future's army. A lot of stalkers up on the high ground. This might actually indicate a fight though, because he's going to recognize that there's not a lot of her units on the low ground. Oh, these disruptors are still doing a really good job of keeping the army from pushing in. Future's looking for the opportunity. He is, but he's constantly just being shaved off barely. The Vikings go in. They actually dive the Colossus. The Marauder count still remains fairly high. The disruptors are being targeted down. No more cooldowns available. The stalkers are beaten back, and 34 supply remains for Nina. I don't think this looks good for our Protoss. And Future's looking to walk away victorious. Look at walk away victorious here in game 1. GG. Marauder gang. Now I do believe we have some stream rating to get caught up on, as the boss levels pretty stacked up. We got 500 people in this battle from 196 unique individuals. Shout out to you guys. We'll get game 2 started pretty quick, so let me start this map up early, and we'll see you guys. Good luck here. You've got auto camera on while I get this next lobby up.
Mate, just focus on the game.
Okay, we've got the lobby up. Just waiting on Future to give us the go-ahead, which he has done. I'm hoping we kill this. I'm just tapped in and see that it's become quite the showdown in the top side. These boss battles are getting pretty epic the more we play them. We got a lot of our Spartan boys going through, and these should not take damage. Different ranks of Centurions have their defensive auras stack up, so as you can see, a lot of them are only taking 1 damage and getting healed for like 32. So I think we're gonna eventually win this, but we'll come back to it, guys, because I gotta get into the StarCraft side of things. So join me in game as we hop into map 2 in this best of 5 winners match. Spawning here to the top right side of the map. She's down 1 at the moment, but I can see her bouncing back. It's Nina. And to the bottom left, we have the Red Terran leading 1-0. It's Future. And Nina, I believe, just barely did not see that SCV. She's still gonna get the scout confirmation when she sees no barracks on the high ground over here. Or is he just scouting? No, he is pulling barracks. Okay. So Future. Oh, Nina's not scouting. I take it back. She's going for payback. This is retaliation, I believe, especially with the location chosen for how last game started off. This could actually be way worse for Future, all things considered. I don't know how it still matches up, but it's been a long time since I've seen Proxy Gateway versus Proxy Barracks. But Proxy Gateway was better. My God, how long? A year plus ago? It's been a while. Nobody usually gets this cheesy. We'll see how it plays out. But the idea is that the Reaper's gonna be a lot more frustrating to deal with than the Zealot. But the Zealot can still kill a Reaper if not handled perfectly. Also, we did win the boss battle real quick, so quick peek at the rewards, guys. All right, if you see your name, great. Good job, congrats. Let's hop back into StarCraft and get a new map going. Kill some more nerds and some pixels. Yeah, this is funny because Future's not going to see this. The SCV might, if he builds a command center, might path that way, but initially this Zealot's probably going to come out before Future's aware. I mean, a Marine was made at home, not a Reaper. So to be clear, this gas was going for Marauders, and that's a trip. Marine's going to rally across the map. Oh no! Okay, this is super duper awkward. Nina's got this Zealot that can take on Marines. Future didn't see the Zealot though, despite moving across the field. So, oh, this Nexus is gonna hurt. Nina doesn't know what's going on here, right? She doesn't know it's a proxy Marauder. She doesn't know about the concussive shells. But to be clear, when it's just Marauders, the perfect counter to this is usually just pulling the probes and surrounding them, performing a citizen's arrest. Now realizing the dire necessity of back at home. Oh, this was a supply depot that supply dropped on it. Oh, you never do this. This is going to be the most painful supply block of the century if this supply depot dies. And that's why you see him focusing it instead of the SCVs, or her focusing it instead of the SCVs. But one little misclick takes her off the depot. Now that Marine spawns and these SCVs are going to work. Other side of the field, Marauders have been surrounded. Marines have been surrounded. It looks like both players are going to lose a fair amount of workers before this is said and done, but I think the difference is at the end of the day, Nina's going to have an expansion, whereas Future will not. Oh, wait, the Stalker. Oh, the Stalker. Oh! That's it. That's the biggest supply block you've ever seen. I mean, okay, it's not a supply block yet, because workers died. But if no workers died, that's the biggest supply block ever. Either way, it's enough for a tap out. GG. Nina wrestles victory in game 2 away from Future. The last second body block felt more like a misclick to me, if we're just being honest, but it worked. So that's going to be a very quick transition to Submarine, map 3, with a series score tied 1-1. I also have some very unfortunate news, guys, because in between all of this, Silky has said his internet doesn't look like it's getting better, and he's forfeiting everything. This is really infuriating for me as a broadcaster, because now we're going to have less matches, but For Cham fans out there, it means Cham gets a free walkover to the grand finals of the group. So, woo! Oh, is the alt raid battle ready to go? Thank you guys. Oh, the loot's there. I just forgot to collect it. Thank you. Alt raid is queuing up a new battle too. Is there more StarCraft? Yeah, oh yeah, there's still a ton of StarCraft coming. We have the rest of this best of 5. Then we have a whole other best of 5. We're not done. I'm just saying, unfortunately, due to due to Silky forfeiting, there's no losers match for Cham to play. So Cham will just get a default win and walk over to the finals of the group. So what this means is the winner of this series is out of the group in first place. The loser faces Cham for the second place in the group. So yeah, unfortunately, Silky is out officially. Why did Silky forfeit? Internet problems. Internet problems. This is also problems for us because a shorter broadcast means less time to wow and dazzle you guys with some fun StarCraft and collect some funds for charity. So I'm gonna just shamelessly rattle my cup real quick. You know, this isn't money for me. This isn't money for Base Trade TV or StarCraft or tournaments. This is money we're collecting for people who are going to be suffering from COVID-19, whose families can't afford groceries, who can't afford hospitals. United Way is going to help a lot of people. And if you guys type !donate in the chat, you can either donate directly to the general COVID fund that we have, or you can donate directly to Minneapolis, as we had originally wanted to do. And if you're curious about more expansions on that statement, type !statement in the chat and go read that. But it's game number 3. Things have tied up now, 1 apiece. Spawning here to the top left side of the map, we have the blue Protoss, Nina. She has managed to tie things up with some cheese. I guess she's going to continue it maybe? Or she's just looking for proxies. Bottom right, it is the Red Terran Future. No, we're not doing any substituting. Sometimes we do substitute players in, but that would have to have been before the group started. The fact that Silky already played a match out, the winner's match was determined, like subbing somebody in now makes no sense. So unfortunately, and regrettably, the best choice is just to accept the walkover for what it is. Be very sad that we had 2 of these in the tournament between Special and Silky, and just try to our best just to move on. I really hope in the round of 8 that won't be a problem anymore, because round of 8's prize money. And I guess that's a good thing to talk about here for the winner's match, because it's not just about who gets through, moves on to the round of 8. Our tournament, which we haven't talked about much for, has a prize pool of $1,000 and pays out to 8th place. So getting out of this group doesn't just put you in the round of 8, it puts you in the prize money. Sub me in. Yeah, we'll just do a holdout challenge. We'll have a viewer holdout challenge. If they last more than 10 minutes, the pro player loses. Is that what we're going with? Yeah? Okay, cool. Check. The Reaper from Future hits across the map. Now, Nina, of course, did eventually get over here and scout the top. Nothing fishy. The command center of the natural was the big giveaway. But I do appreciate that she checked for proxies. I really don't feel like Future's that much of a proxy player. Seeing it once was kind of surprising. Seeing it twice was like, whoa, dude. But the PvT matchup, I feel so... Okay, look, I know that you could apply this argument to almost every matchup. I'm just speaking from my experience as a broadcaster, watching chat's reaction, watching my reaction. But I feel like TVP is one of these matches that is the most easy to balance wine over from either side. Like, you could argue, yeah, you lose a game and anyone can balance wine. Oh, Zerg beat me, Zerg's broken. But it's the way Protoss plays, and it's the way Terran all in. Like, these two things combined make this matchup so infuriating for the opposite race and for the fans of the opposite race. I swear to God. Oh, sorry, yeah, this is best of 1. That's a mistake. It's supposed to be best of 5. There you go. I don't know if anyone agrees with that statement or not. Maybe I'm alone on this one, but yeah, I just feel like Protoss have the statistics of never winning any tournaments to fall back on, and then Terran, when they lose, they suffer such awful losses that it feels extra bad. Like, I don't know, I've cast a lot of TVP games where the Terran player loses and I'm like, oh boy, That was close and clean. Couldn't have been done any better. No, it's like, man, this sucks. Anyways, the bunker is proving to be a little bit of a help here. Nothing too insane though for damage. He could chase the stalker down, but he'll lose the Hellion if he does so. Yeah, pulling back makes sense. I'm just trying to think actually, aside from the shield battery overcharge, if there was really many patch changes that affect this matchup, and the obvious answer was the Widow Mine, but we actually saw Clem and a few other players over the last week through ESL and otherwise try to make Widow Mines a thing. And the Widow Mine drop I don't think is any different now than it was before, with or without the armory, because the ability to stay stealthed and fire another shot still requires like a 60-second or however long the cooldown is on the Widow Mine before it fires again. So most of the time, Widow Mines with or without the stealth bonus are going to fire once, and it doesn't seem like the armory has been making it so these drops can fire twice anyways. In that cooldown period, oftentimes we'll see detection in some form. Revelation was changed, but we don't have a Stargate, so I won't go over that too much right now. But I will note that with the Robo finishing up, and notably the Dark Shrine halfway done, things might get really funny here. Now the probes have been pulled very quickly. This is a very fast reaction time out of Nina. And I don't think this is what Future was trying to do. He was trying to target fire the Widow Mine so it wouldn't go off on anything, and until the, I guess, target was appropriate. But yeah, the Widow Mines end up not doing too much. The medevac boosts around, getting out of here, and oh my goodness! Anonymous just donated $100 to the charity. If you got some Tasia claps, guys, put them in the chat. It might be anonymous, but we still appreciate you nonetheless. No message, no reward. Oh, okay. That's just actually selflessly $100 towards the charity. Fuck yes, anonymous. Thank you. We need the ass clap song for that. No, no, no. We definitely do not. That brings our grand total now up to 4335. I don't expect to hit 5K in this stream, but this is making it seem a lot more doable that we'll hit 5K before the tournament's all said and done by those playoffs. Thank you again, Anonymous, for your very generous charitable donation. And by the way, if you guys ever do, I'm not sure who is or isn't, but if you actually post to the other charity, the one that doesn't show on stream, send me the receipt. I would love to thank you for that too, because I am sad that we didn't end up getting to target the greater Twin Cities as my original intentions were, but I'm still happy to know we're raising money for like a good cause. This isn't some like one of those breast cancer awareness campaigns where it turns out like 80% of the budget goes towards marketing. We did our research on United Way. They seem like a good organization, and they've got some pretty reputable standings too, which is nice. Anyways, droning on a little bit too much about that. We got a really sick timing for this push out of Future. He's gonna have +1 weapons and stim pack. Concussive shells is kind of negligible because with stim, this whole army can fight and won't get kited around by the stalkers. Oh, Nina's stalkers almost grab a medevac right off the bat though. That would have been sweet. But there's a lot of damage output here for Future, and Nina, I guess with the Colossus, might be able to deal with this Marine count, but again, so many Marauders are brought with this. The Colossus can't just walk in here like it normally can. And if it does, it risks getting killed. Widow Mines burrow to the front lines. EMPs fire off. They're kind of like many EMPs. Oh, but they got the Colossus. Oh! Bigger they are, harder they fall. Marauders on the ground don't seem that spectacular, but they are trading out as he juggles them in the medevacs. Future's putting the... Oh, he's turning the skill dial up to 10. Nina wishes she had a her own Warp Prism to do this with too, but Blink's gonna have to make do for the time being. However, in blinking back, gives up DPS. Marauders get healed up fuller, and this army just doesn't seem like it's ever gonna end. We do have some big reinforcements though. The probes are pulled, some zealots in the mix. Unfortunately, Marauders can't face tank zealots the same way they can these stalker shots, so it looks like Nina will salvage the defense on this one. And what's really noteworthy is Nina's maintained a probe lead through this. So Mo money, it's not Mo problems. Mo money is less problems. And Nina's gonna have more money. At least outside of mule drops. As you guys can see though, mules drop like crazy in the natural. Third base is halfway finished up. Future won't be too far behind for too long. But for now, Nina should be able to outproduce him. What charity puts 80% of its donations towards marketing? A lot of them, actually, surprisingly. if you read into I am so naive because I've given, like, my mom had breast cancer, and I've given a lot of money to various breast cancer research stuff, like in BC, and I was super disappointed to learn that a lot of them don't put all the donations towards like research and development or anything. A lot of it's just towards more marketing so they can get more donations, which for a non-profit company is kind of sus, but you know, I'm not one to judge. That's the rules, the playing by them. Hate the game, not the player, right? But yeah, if you look into it, a lot of things that I think a lot of us grew up with assuming are good are not so good. PETA is a really good example of this. I grew up with the understanding that PETA was like the ultimate sanctuary people to save all animals. Grow up to learn PETA kills more animals than most people. So it's like, you know, look into this stuff. Always do your research before donating and blah blah blah. Don't even take my word for this charity either. I would say Google it before you feel comfortable putting any money to it, but if you do, you'll see that they've got some really good reviews. So that's why I was ultimately comfortable picking it. Anyways, that's not super important. What is though is there's three big attacks mounting up right now. 2 liberators head to the natural base. They'll probably secure a landing zone for the 2 medevacs that are floating right nearby. Base of the top right is going to get canceled out, and these 4 medevacs are a huge amount of damage, at least if they unload their cargo. Ooh. Guys, why do they put cargo in ships but shipments in cars? What's up with that? Oh, just barely not going to get the robo. No deny here for the double production, but the widow mines remain down for a little bit longer. And well, this attack may have not worked out so well. Down to the south, there's still 2 medevacs loaded up. And if Nina moves out of the base or chases these, that'll be Future's time to strike. Dude, War Puppy, true though. True. Yeah, it's really difficult being... I'm very skeptical as a person, and cynical and sarcastic and negative. But anyways, the point is, if I am putting my trust in something, I don't want anyone else to just because I did, because I myself wouldn't. So I appreciate you guys bringing up the questions and concerns, and hopefully I've answered them as like honestly and openly as I can. But more on that after the game. Force fields do a really good job of blocking Future back. It's the only reason Nina's able to walk away at all from this. But walking away, it's not going to win the game. She's down in supply. She doesn't have a lot of splash damage. Granted, Colossus are good, but Disruptors are going to be a lot more, I think, game-changing. Scans go down. These DTs are barely gonna, well, one of them makes it out. Base over here. Oh, letting this finish up is bold. Letting this finish is very, very bold, because I don't think there's any saving it. So it's just 400 minerals wasted for poor Nina. Meanwhile, down southmost, we have a missile turret going up, so DTs will hopefully be less of an issue. Planetary Fortress kills the Zealot, and this Liberator sits up. Oh, couple of shots fired there. As this army pushes down towards the 3rd base, there's not a lot to defend it. This should be a pickoff. That's 2 dead Nexus, and everything I'm seeing out of Future right now is giving me old school Polt vibes, where he's just handling this really well. But hopefully it doesn't go full Polt where he leaves the game to play TFT. Oh, makes me so sad. But yeah, we had the Polt Viking earlier, the Nexus snipes here. I'm liking Future a lot this year, and I liked him a lot last year too. I'm really waiting for his breakout performance, because I feel like Future is fairly close to doing what Neeb did and going from just being like a really well-known good player to being a guy who wins tournaments. But he's not there yet. Can I answer a list of the main base? If the SCVs survive, great, but I don't think anything down here is going to live. SCVs may survive if they hide in the corner. Oh my god. Oh, the shot's going over the left side, and the Disruptor takes out the Ghost, but they already launched their EMP, so mission accomplished with the Ghost. Marauders now concave on everything else, and that collapse will not be stoppable. This is a single Disruptor that might fire off, but the Zealots are not going to save the day. The Stalkers have died, and all of this for 22 SCVs and a CC? I don't know if that was worth it. Now there's going to be a counterattack, and Nina should have a few more units warped in at home, but this is going to be a significant supply disadvantage. Oh my god, that drop-off is unreal. This is the army graph, not the income graph, just to be clear. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. These Disruptors are looking for some big shots. They're not quite getting the money shots. Vikings land on the ground with the reverse screw lander maneuver. Starts taking out these Stalkers. GG. Future secures victory in game 3, giving him a 2-1 lead over Nina. But again, these are best of 5s, and Nina has yet to, or is not dead yet. Who do you think has the leg up for NA Terran, Future or Vindicta? I think Future hands down right now, but I actually think Vindicta has so much potential. If he focused on it, I think he would be one of the best. But I know Vindicta juggles a lot of real life stuff, so I don't know how likely that is to happen. Game number 4 will come up in a moment. I'm going to just take a quick breather. I really need it. So we're going to play some commercials, and I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching. More StarCraft when we return. Oh my god, they both have guns. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. First Mesmer, congratulations. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're hopping into another game. Let me turn the sounds back on and continue this best of 5. So, I'm sorry to repeat myself so often, but there are no people coming and going. Before I do the intros really quick, this is the winner's match. If Future wins, then he's out of the group in first place, and Nina will fall to face off against Cham for the final match of the day. There is sadly no loser's match because of Silky's forfeit, so this will go directly to the group finals after it's done. Spawning here to the bottom left side, the map Pillars of Gold, we have the red Terran leading 2-1. It's Future. And at the top right, his opponent, the blue Protoss. She's Nina, player formerly known as Puck. That game was, I will admit, a bit closer than I thought it was going to be. The Marauder concave towards the end though just really solidified my thoughts about TVP. Just like when you win really one-sidedly, and I think that goes hand in hand with what I was trying to describe earlier. Is I think the why this match is so balance wine heavy, right? Like when you lose a Zerg game because you either got overwhelmed or you lost a Mac, or you know what you did, but it's usually not like super duper ridiculously one-sided. Although granted, I could complain about Vipers for 8 hours. I would filibuster the Senate with how much I hate Vipers if I could, but I'm not a politician. But regardless of my own complaints, the thing is, I think in TVP, like when you win big, and that last game was a really good example of that. And it's gonna be infuriating to let stuff like that happen. Plus, Nina made some pretty good decisions. I really like the disruptor play, but disruptors are always I don't want to say hit or miss because that's kind of cliche. I guess they never miss, huh? But they really can be game changing in both good and bad ways, depending on whose perspective you're looking at. You love Vipers just because of the Carbot animation? Okay, in fairness, the Carbot stuff makes me love Zerg, and I hate Zerg, so there's the magic to being cute. The floor now recognizes Senator Riff Kuhn. Yo, by the way, 47 is, I hate that thing you drew. Our YouTube guy showed it to me this morning. Ah, you son of a b****. I can't believe you made me wear a banner. It says I Heart Protoss. I almost threw my computer out the window. Let's see it. I don't know what it's being used for, so I don't want to show it on stream. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be something we're saving for like a secret thumbnail or a project, but I got a preview this morning and I just said nope with a grumpy face. Just absolutely reprehensible. Speaking of reprehensible, haha, Future is looking to close this one out with some probe damage. So the starport comes down in a weird position. It's proxied out in the field, so the medevac will start out here. He'll fill this with usually 4 Hellions is the order, but he doesn't want to make it super obvious, so he needs to be a little active out on the map. But if 4 Hellions can sneak by everything and unload in the base, 4 Hellions can kill workers super quick. And this has not changed through any kind of balance of any patches. So he's got the Marine out here poking ahead. The reason I think it's weird that it's here instead of like over here is this isn't going to lead to the main base. This leads to the natural. Either way, 4 Hellions out and about. They could just walk up this ramp on their own, funny enough. Showing his hand here, he does manage to slip in. No medevac necessary. Maybe this is how they get out. The getaway driver. Oh god, this has killed 7 workers, 9 workers, almost unscathed. Like what? For cost of what? 1 Hellion. Oh, picks up in the main. 3 Hellions is still enough to one-shot a probe, even through a shield battery. Oh god, it's painful, and it's gonna keep being painful until these get cleaned up. The shield battery overcharge is a nice touch, but I don't think it's going to do anything but help the units that are getting splashed. So 14 probes killed this early. Sets Nina back in a terrible way. And setting up for a predictable counterattack, Future starts putting things like a bunker down at the front. The tank probably going to sit in the main base for a little bit with a bunker in the main as well. No question, when you cause damage like that, you invite counterplay. And while these Hellions going to struggle to kill more probes, that Liberator won't. This Liberator is just going to sit up, and this is an entire base of mining denied. Nina may not have wanted to go all in with this game, nor do I think she was really prepared to do it, but that's what she's forced into now. And this Warp Prism brings units to the main. That bunker is going to be a huge deterrent. That siege tank is set up in a great spot as well. It just needs to catch the units to try and walk around the bunker. Pushing in through the front might be a better option. Force fields could prevent the SCVs from repairing. That's why you see Future go through such lengths to pre-pull the SCVs. But even if this bunker falls, I feel like the siege tank alone is enough to stop this. And remember, Future's up 20 workers while this goes on because the Liberator has still not been dealt with. Oh god. That's it for Nina, I'm sorry to say. When do we get to watch you cast Print F next? Get me Print F. There are some players out there who I will always want to cast, not because I expect great games, but because I know what type of player they are. Print F and Florencio are in this category. All the warpers of micro in the world sadly won't make up for the difference in what's happening here. GG. Nina will tap out, and Future will succeed the group in first place, securing his spot in the round of 8. And being a Terran player too, because we're fairly short on those, makes me extra happy. But okay, folks, before we continue on, we are going to try and get this Stream Raider battle underway. We have 571 people in this battle, and more importantly, 243 of you sons of guns have signed up to play. I love to see it. It's a free-to-play little mini-game thing, guys. It's really just, it's background noise is the way we handle it on Base Trade TV, but it's really fun. We get to unlock skins. You can represent your favorite streamers' skins as well in our battles, so you're seeing a good mix of things that are ours and things that are not ours. And I love it. I love it. My favorite thing is just going over these and looking at some of the skins. So please consider joining. You type !join in the chat and it'll put you on the battlefield. We also have a secret alt raid going on, but those who know, know, and those who don't, don't. Didn't you do an entire week of nothing but Stream Raiders? Yes, and it's probably going to happen again in the upcoming week, because the last time we did it, it was for a $10,000 tournament. We placed 9th out of 40 in the actual final results. It was pretty good. And then this new one is going to invite 50 people, has a $20,000 prize pool. And so once again, you bet my content for the next week is going to be focused on Stream Raiders as we try to qualify in. But for the most part, outside of these extreme tournaments where they're putting up huge cash prizing, Stream Raiders for me, in my opinion, it's just a really fun background game. It's like a slow marbles. It's something we can play over time and that we don't have to have like a delay or non-delay to play. Like you can't do marbles on a stream delay. It's not possible. But with Stream Captains, Stream Raiders, just put up in the background. It's awesome. I love it. Plus, we make money with it. Like, let's be transparent. You guys buy skins in this game. You buy any of our skins, I get a cut. And it's nice. So I can help pay my bills and you guys can get some cool shit. And to be honest, I would way rather you guys reward yourself with like one of these skins in game than sub to me on Twitch. Because subbing on Twitch gets you ad-free viewing and then it's gone after a month. These skins are permanent. They stay with you forever and you can take them to whatever stream you want. So by all means, I would highly, highly, highly encourage, if you want to support the channel, buy yourself a skin. Treat yourself while supporting the channel rather than just throwing your money away with Twitch Prime or whatever. Well, I guess you're not throwing away your money with Twitch Prime. Anyways, I bought enough time for the battle to seek up, load up, and be ready to go. So as we start this fight, we're going to crush it. It's going to be so one-sided. I want to thank Boggy Creek Monster. He's just gifted out 5 skins to people in the chat. So Frosty Mac got a tank. Liam Sully got an archer. Last Noob on Earth got a tank. Mr. Io got Factory Jan. And Cyrus Funny got a barbarian. Congratulations, guys. I'll go find Cham in a moment. All right, we gotta ping Cham, get him in game. Cham, in game when you can, pretty please. Also, I need to coin flip. So before we go to a commercial, could somebody pretty please? Oh, they've already done vetoes. Oh, nice. They beat me to the vetoes. It's perfect. I like when players can do this on their own. I don't have to babysit them because it makes my life a lot easier. All right, so once again, I know we just played a break. We're just going to take another one because it's a shorter night and I'm trying to squeeze more ads in for it. So this is a defensive map. If you guys don't know how this one works, you have to protect the clams. We have to protect these clams. So commercial coming at you. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I hate doing the back-to-back like this, but yeah, we'll get into this next series ASAP.
the pillars of a sorry grace. There are battle wombitarians lacking in humility. Turians are bragging about their reach and flexibility. The clutter of the city spreads to the lowliest stars. But no matter what scars you bear, whatever uniform you wear, you can fight like a Krogan, run like a leopard, but you never be better than Commander Shepard. In the Citadel's halls, inside the shining walls, hear the stories from Earth. Fighters wanna prove their worth. Solarian science, smothered in idiom, about to stimulate an eye scanning for iridium. But one tale holds every mind enthralled. 'Cause no matter what scars you bear, whatever uniform you wear, you can fight like a Krogan, run like a leopard, but you never be better than Commander Shepard. No matter what scars you bear, whatever uniform you wear, you can fight like a Krogan, run like a leopard, but you never be better than Commander Shepard. You can fight like a Krogan, run like a leopard, but you never be better than Commander Shepard. You can fight like a Krogan, run like a leopard, but you never be better than Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Yeah. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Never be better than Commander Shepard. Assuming control.
Okay, I'm back. Hello. We're ready to rock and roll. I'm starting the alt battle while we queue up. The players are in the game. I'm just making sure they're both here and not AFK. And as soon as Nina gives us the go ahead, we'll start this final match of the night. And I changed the telestream. Cham versus Nina. This is course CVP. Who won the arena? Oh, is it still going? Sorry, I was rushing back to get in the game. Where's the gulag at? All right, real quick. Game starting up. And it's Nilangelo. GG. Sorry, guys. All right. Hi. Hello. Welcome back. It's been a bit of a messy group. It's never fun having a forfeit, but we have two teammates, it appears, who have made it through to the finals of this group. One will advance to the round of 8. The other will sadly fall out of the tournament. This has been a really fun night, all things considered, though, and I think we've had some pretty exciting games. I can't wait to see what this last one has in store. So to the top left side of the map, we have the blue Protoss. She is Nina. And her opponent to the lower right is the red Zerg Cham. I actually think Cham's got some pretty scary all-ins in his back pocket. That's something Nina's going to have to definitely be on alert for this series, but Nina played pretty good, not just pretty. Nina played really well earlier, especially versus Silky. I have to imagine things will go okay for Nina here, but I'm actually just having a brain fart. The first series of the night was it's Future versus Cham, actually, so they haven't played yet. This is their first time matching up against one another. So it's a very different beast tackling Cham than it will be tackling Silky. But to be clear, even with Silky having all the lag spikes that he was talking about that led to his eventual forfeit, he played a really, really tough series. Now, that was not a walkover. That was not a walk in the park either. It was literally a walkover, so I mixed up my phrasing there. But the point still stands. Nina played a strong ZVP. I'm excited and hoping to see more of that strength here. But they're teammates, and I don't know how much information they share. I don't know how close they are. I know, for example, the Team Liquid boys, they do these boot camps together where they'll get together and they'll point out each other's weaknesses so that they can all improve and become better. I don't know if all teams operate like that, but I hope that these do. Otherwise, Nina and Cham won't quite have insight on each other. Sorry, I was just reading chat. I realize how upset you guys got about me swapping the scenes over too soon. I really apologize for the gulag fight. Whoops. Anyways, look, it is the last series of the night. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. If you have, please, I'm not going to ask for money or anything like we have before. Just hit the follow button. I hope to see you guys come back for more in the future. We still have a round of 8 and a playoffs match with dates to be determined. I bring this up because I'll be posting all that information on Discord first and foremost. Did I just say Discord really weird? I'll be posting it on Discord first and foremost, then on Twitter, then on Team Liquid. So there'll be sources, but Discord's definitely the best place. It's where I'm the most active. If you ever want to just chat outside of streaming or play games with us when we're not streaming, or more importantly, get information when we're not streaming, Discord's definitely the way to go. Oh no. Is this game over? I think this is game over. Why was there nothing in the wall? Nothing's building and that pylon's gonna die and it's game over. Oh, that's so sad. I saw the Lynx sneak around the side and I just thought Nina would have like a probe in the wall or something, but one little oversight cost the game. Ooh, that sucks. Is it just me or do those Zerglings look like they were made of rubber? There's something about Submarine. The saturation on that map is weird. They make things just look different. I don't know how to describe it better than that. Anyways, Eternal Empire's coming up next. Let me get this hosted up. We'll just go right into it. No time for breaks. No time for Stream Raiders. It's too quick of a first game. Zerg forever. But you know what makes me super happy? I just gave that big speech about Discord and information and being caught up to date, and nobody typed !Discord in the chat. Clearly that's because you're all already in my Discord server, right guys? Look, I know some of you watching right now are parents or you're boomers who couldn't care less about Discord. But Discord, give it a try. It's a community thing, and we do a lot of chatting over there. We do a lot of talking over there. I know Discord is not fun to jump into, especially if you're like me and you grew up with Skype. But trust me, moving off of Skype onto Discord was the best choice I ever made. You have to download. You never have to. You know that's great that you don't even have to download it. You can just access it through the browser too. Emoji farm server. Look, here's the thing. I'm not trying to farm you guys getting on Discord. I gain nothing from it. Discord's not monetized, and frankly, I'm probably going to annoy most of you with my pings on Discord. But I do want to make sure that you guys have that resource available for information. Stuff like the Tasia Holdout Challenge updates, or stuff like these group updates. By the way, I've mentioned that this is the last series today, but I still have to draw the round of 8 out. I'll be doing that before the stream is done, since this match determines our 8th and final player in our group. Who are you at on Discord? At everyone, obviously. All right, players say they're ready. Let's hop into it. Eternal Empire. Is Discord on PS4? I don't actually know. I don't own consoles. That's so lame. I have a Switch, so it's not entirely true, but I don't have like an Xbox or PS or anything, so I've got no clue, dude. You have to figure that one out on your own. Anyways, welcome back to game number 2. Hopefully this time will be a little longer than a couple minutes. To the top right. Sadly, she's down 1 at the moment, but this is a best of 5. So don't give up on Nina. Bottom left side of the map, red Zerg leads 1-0. Some dirty legs. It's Cham. Base Rate TV, do you play Animal Crossing? I really want to. I feel like I didn't know how big of a deal Animal Crossing was going to be, and I never played the first one, so I slept on it. And then 2 months in, it's clearly a big deal. Quarantine contributes to it. All my friends play Animal Crossing, and I just feel like I missed out. And I'm sure it's not too late to get into it, but it feels like it is. So I've chosen not to get into it. But I love it. I love seeing all the little videos people make, all the friends running around reenacting stuff. It's so cute. It's so dang cute. I remember the first interaction I ever had with Animal Crossing was actually the old, like the original Animal Crossing. And it was the first time I ever went to BlizzCon. This is like 2009 or something, forever ago. And it was a big deal because our guild was meeting up there for World of Warcraft, right? It wasn't StarCraft caster back then. And one of the ladies, one of the officers in the guild, I was guild leader by the way, she came and I was super excited to meet everybody. And she's an older woman, probably like in her 40s or so, and I'm like 22. And the whole time we're hanging out with our group of like 8 or 9 people. She's just playing Animal Crossing the entire time, like on whatever the handheld thing was. I don't remember what it was, but she was just playing Animal Crossing the entire time. And I'm like, oh, do you want to come hang out in the pool? No, I'm just good sitting by the pool. So I had like a really bad point of view of Animal Crossing without ever having touched it, just because I thought it was so lame that she wanted to sit out meeting everybody for the first time. Side note, my favorite story from BlizzCon comes from that same BlizzCon. That's where I got slapped by a New Zealand woman's prosthetic breast in the hot tub. That's a story for another time. Some of you have heard me tell that one before in stream, but not today. Stargate for Nina is a very safe way to play, and I really like the Phoenix we saw earlier, but like that was a cool transition, not a really cool opener. And I feel like when the Phoenix is the opener, it's a lot easier to deal with. And it was the surprise element, especially when there was like 13 or 20 Phoenix, however many it was, that caught Silky so off guard in that one series. As the Adept moves over, scouting maybe? Might transfer and go for a drone kill, but the Lings were already hot on his heels, so or her heels, excuse me. So Nina decides to not commit to the main with that. No, it's not surprised that she was socially awkward. It was just more like the priority was there. This person who I'm referring to, she was actually very social. It was just the entire time was on Animal Crossing, so she was still hanging out like by the poolside with us. She was still conversing with us. It was all just while playing Animal Crossing. Sometimes I get really nostalgic and I miss a lot of my old guildmates. I've seen those pictures from that BlizzCon so many times in my like, your phone remind, what did you do 10 years ago on this day type thing, and I just like, I miss those guys. I don't think I'm in contact with anybody that I used to play OG WoW with. Actually, it was so cool because, as you guys know, BlizzCon's very short. It's only a couple of days, and not to get too off topic here, but we spent the entire first day of BlizzCon not even in BlizzCon. We just sat by the pool ordering beer all day. It was great. Honestly, it's probably the best BlizzCon ever. Anyways, the Oracle's zipping and zapping, looking for some damage. Not a lot to really be done here. We should talk briefly on some of the Oracle changes because there's people probably still uninformed about the patch. As far as the damage component of the Oracle, exact same thing. This hasn't changed. You guys don't worry about that. But what did change was the Revelation ability. This now has a cooldown inherently at 10 seconds. It also lasts much longer at 15 seconds, but it only costs 25 energy. So in a lot of cases where the Oracle was already really valuable for scouting in the late game, it's been made both better and worse now. Worse because the Revelation doesn't last as long, so if you get like a really sick Revelation, it wears off very quickly. But it's better because if you miss the hit or your opponent's counterplaying your Oracles, you can cast it more frequently even with that 10-second cooldown due to the fact that it costs like no energy now. So I think Oracles are going to be really, really nice. It's super incredibly valuable in Lurker Wars, more than Oracles, or excuse me, Observers even. But that's speaking a really big game up for these Oracles. I only bring this up though because we do see a Hydralisk Den coming out of Cham, and this typically leads to Lurkers eventually. But Cham's actually a really good Hydra player. And his macro with them is pretty on point. And the worst part about playing against Hydras is oftentimes getting caught off guard by them. And I don't think Nina has seen this yet. But if you realize your opponent's going Hydras, it's like one of the oldest school tricks in the book. You go air units, you bait them into making anti-air units, and then you build units that counter the anti-air units. And in the past, that was always Colossus. But I mean, storms, charge lots, whatever. They all work. The problem is what Nina's doing right now with these 2 immortals, and I'm sure intends to harass and drop with them, won't work so good because there's going to be counterplay. And in fact, that Lurker Den's coming down very quick. Hotel beer is expensive. Yeah, it is. One thing I tell everyone always wants to hang out at BlizzCon, right? I'll tell you guys this. Write this down in your hot tips because there's no BlizzCon this year, but for future, stay away from the Hilton if you like your wallet. Their drinks are like so much more expensive, but that's the place everyone wants to go to hang out, and it's the worst. You walk across the street, drinks at the like Ramada or whatever are like half price. I swear. They're still expensive objectively, but they're way cheaper than the Hilton. Anyways, that's a lot of force fields. We've seen similar moves before out of Nina just earlier tonight. I know she's gonna nail the force fields. I am Murati. I am. Thank you for the 3-month resub. Garvia Loken 84. Now with 10 sentries, all with probably about 2 force fields of energy on average on them, there are no are there no Ravagers at all? There's no way to break these force fields right now. Granted, lurkers in the ground are going to kind of trump all, and nothing's going to be able to walk through them. That stasis trap. Oh, it just caught those queens out. That's so cool. But I think force fields are going to be the bigger problem here. However, a line in the sand could literally be drawn by Cham, and he could stop Nina's advance with the lurkers. But I think she's waiting to pick off these queens. It's kind of 2 freebie units. 1 force field in the back. No force fields. Just kill them all. Recalls the army back home. Not all of it, but most of it. So this should save the Nexus. Force fields? Force fields? No, not feeling the clutch. Still works out. And those oracles are going to be very good for Revelation. Lurkers are just so powerful. We're on Hive Tech already, which is what's making this super noteworthy. Adaptive Talent starts first. This is the ability that lets Lurker burrow and unburrow almost immediately, but also gives them a small movement speed off of creep. But the other upgrade you see in Q, Seismic Spines, increases the range by 2, giving Lurkers 10 range, effectively making them like Zerg siege tanks. Not quite, but just about. And if you have a lot of these down, they're very, very difficult to deal with. Actually, some of my favorite old school Lurker tactics, not from Brood War old school, but like we're talking Scarlet versus Neeb old school with Lurker drops. Those kind of fell off, but I feel like Lurker drops are super powerful, and I love seeing them when they go well. Well, the entire army is revealed, but it's already worn off. A Nidus Worm creeps. Oh my god, a Nidus Worm to the main base. Massive warping out of Nina in response. Cham won't get away with this entirely. Woo. It takes 2 shots from a disruptor to kill a Lurker. You know, my favorite version of this was the beta, actually, for Legacy of the Void, for multiple different reasons. But there was this really cool period where the interaction was Zerg macro is so good. Disruptor cooldown almost couldn't keep up with just reproducing more Lurkers. And you had these really weird standoffs in the beta where Lurker Disruptor just created a kind of cold war. Nobody wanted to go in. Nobody wanted to actually fire the nukes. And you would have these standoff games. I'm glad it's not like that now. And with the plus range, I mean, Lurkers are better than they've ever been. But it was really cool that that was part of the, I guess, the development of that unit. But the shield batteries are exhausted. The cannon's getting plucked away at. The oracles are going to help hold this. Hold on. The overcharge of the shield battery is going to save the day. This thing is so powerful. It's so stupid. While this goes on, we do have the attack elsewhere. Oh, Disruptor gets a double kill. The observer inches forward. It sets up. Seeing the lurkers, the stalkers go for some focus fire. More lurkers are being built to replace the ones that are going down, but this hasn't actually made much headway on Nina, and Nina still has those disruptors. Nidus Worm actually gets up on the other side of the field. No shield battery overcharge for the easy mode defense this time, but Walking on top of the lurkers is so dangerous. Goes in, blinding cloud hits. These units can't fight, and they're having trouble getting out. Oh my god, Nina loses so much of her front line. That was such a sick move out of Cham. And of course, the list goes on. She's been taking licks back at home, but looks like this has been finally dealt with, or has it? D49. They haven't noticed I'm not one of them. Still, this Hydra lives. Are you kidding me? You even got into the Nidus worm. What the f? Hydras are the squishiest dang things in this game. And the fact that that thing lived, here it is right here. This bad boy is the most veteran Zerg unit I've ever seen. Promote that to a hunter killer right now. It earned it. Oh god. Oh, those December shots were juicy. They take out one of the lurkers. Mostly still Hydras. This concave is terrifying though. Remember, there's no storms, there's no Colossus. GG. Nina taps out and Cham takes a 2-0 lead, putting Nina on her last life. Green Turtle is having the time of his life in chat right now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm so confused. I need to share these stats with Twitch immediately. I'm so confused. So I click on Green Turtle. I'm like, has he just been singing Frozen the entire time? So for the record, for those who don't know how this works, Green Turtle 23 has been following since 13 minutes ago, but somehow was previously subbed for 2 months. And regardless of when they first came to the channel, they've never written a single thing in chat. They've only just today started singing Let It Go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I know, voice of an angel. Dude, you are bravo. I'm just your mod comment. I'm putting this on your permanent record. Bravo. Where's MC? Oh man, I miss MC. Do you guys remember we had that Frost intro? Spliced in MC with it. Okay, game number 3 is on Everdream. I'm actually going to stall this one out ever so briefly though, just to check up on stream raiders on both sides. Looks like the alt raid is pretty much good to go, so I'm going to start that one. Main raid still needs some love, so we'll wait a little bit. Actually, we could probably start the main raid right now. Holy crap, we have a lot of people in here. All right, I'm gonna tell the players 1 minute while we do this. Doing raid battle on stream real quick. 1 moment. Oh, a donation too. Thank you, whoever that was. Well, here, let's get this started. Oh my god, we have so many people. We have almost 600 and we're starting early. Fucking get it, guys. Riffy in a warty skin. I hate this name. Donated $5 to say, why don't ants ever get sick? It's because they have tiny little antibodies. Bravo. Your name still sucks and I hate it. Is this all that's left? The Leviathan? 3,000 health. Get him! Get him! Lynch him! Shut him down! Oh my god, he melted. Good job, guys. Fucking destroyed. All right, maybe we can squeeze in a boss before it's all said and done. Either way, queue up for the battle. Let's get back to StarCraft. Let me see if the players are ready. Oops. And if they are, then we can get into game 3, which I really, truly don't hope is the last game, but very truly might be the last game. All right, and the alt raid battle's up. I'm gonna link it in the chat. Alt raid, if you guys want to come join us there for a little bit more action. But they're both saying ready, so let's jump into it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, game is on match point. 2 losses in a row to the top right. She's got to come back, and she's got to do it now. Is the blue Protoss, Nina. To the bottom left, we have the red Zerg. He leads 2-0 proudly. It's Cham. And the answer was answered in chat, but this is a fair question because I actually was like commentating games and making tournaments for several years before I learned what LE meant. But when you see the map names like this, that's because that means ladder edition. And I'd always seen these letters thinking it was some stylistic thing that the map makers were doing, and I just kind of thought nerds. But no, it is actually stands for something. Oh dear. This is something that you only do when you're feeling savage as fuck. And Nina's going for a 3-gate proxy and is gonna make it look like it's a cannon rush, setting up this fake out, hoping Cham overreacts. I don't know if Cham is going to overreact, but one thing's for certain, that regardless of if these pylons finish or not, oh, actually letting it finish, really trying to sell this. Nina really wants all the drones chasing. Cham, of course, was pulling more drones. Gateway starts up here. Okay, he's not convinced. I think Cham's a little confused right now, to be honest, with what's going on, unaware of this development while this happens in the background. So he's pretty satisfied pulling these drones, thinking, okay, I've dealt with this. But here's the problem, right? He's gonna build a queen, probably 3 zerglings, right off the bat. Oh my god, the cyber core is so good. Yeah, so 6 lings and a queen are on the way, but that's not enough. 3 zealots actually beats that every time. Now realizing what's happening, Cham sees Nina's zealots come in. And Nina, actually, if a pylon goes on the high ground, I would really like that for some vision stuff. But with the cyber core finishing shortly, Nina may be able to start building shield batteries here. And while there's not going to be a photon overcharge ability anytime soon, shield batteries would make these almost impossible to remove. That being said, though, you see a spine crawler in the mineral line. So Cham is taking this very seriously. He's not underreacting, but he's trying very hard not to overreact either. The zealots micro here really well. They take out most of the zerglings before the queen's out. Spine crawler's finished up. That pylon, unfortunately, with all this creep, can't be used for shield batteries. Nina hasn't lost this yet, but has to start getting some very real damage done. Zealots can 1v1 a queen, by the way. If they just A move versus each other, Zealot wins. But the way she's kind of pulling these away and peeling the back, I think she knows. Thank you for the donation. I'll read that in a moment. I think she knows what the plan is with this queen, but like rather than waste it all, tries to pressure the queen to come to these zealots by attacking the natural. And frankly, this queen has to come to the natural. She can't ignore 6 zealots chewing away on a hatchery. That's a dead base. But the queen's done a really good job of chipping away at the armor. Shields, excuse me. Please ignore the zealots. They go directly across the map for a counterattack. I don't know why there's 2 pylons on the low ground. I don't know what that was going to accomplish. But if a shield battery gets built in the main, that overcharge could save Nina forever. However, a Nexus goes down, and I fully believe this is bait. This is like, hey, stop and attack this. Cham doesn't take the bait. He runs to the main. That shield battery might not get to finish. Nina sends some adepts home to clean this up. Is there no recall available? Well, even if there was, she's probably going to save the energy for the overcharge. These 2 adepts are going to get caught. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I mean, it wasn't good to begin with, but this is now really bad. These zealots don't have the health to bust in through a spine crawler. They'll lose several zealots in the process. Although, Cham's not target firing the low one. There we go. That zealot's dead meat. So every probe's been killed back at home, and it is officially do or die in the most actual sense of the phrase. Cham is probably going to hold this if he pulls the drones. But if he waits too long, then the adepts are going to reinforce, and Cham won't win this game if that's the case. The zealots are almost baited out of position. Backs against the wall. It's not enough. Sadly, Nina is not going to be enough. And with a second queen spawning, that's all she wrote. If there were probes mining back at home, this is a different story, but I really wanted Nina to show some kick-ass games of what we had versus Silky earlier. But Cham's just another beast, man. Too much. GG. And with that, Cham locks down second place in the group with a 3-0, and he will advance on to the round of 8. I'm so sad to see Nina fall, but very glad to see Cham doing well. Either way, I thank all the players who came out to play again tonight, because regardless of how well they performed, they gave us a show to put on so people could watch and possibly consider donating to the charity. Now, the stream's not over yet. I've got to grab these names and we've got to do a draw together. I think we're going to do a marble style draw. So this is going to be real wild and stupid, but do stick around. We're going to pick the round of 8 here in a moment. The rules are that players from the same group cannot be matched up against each other for the first match in the round of 8, but they can be set up to possibly meet each other in the semifinals. Other than that, I've just got to go prepare some stuff on my end. So I guess this will be another small break, but do stick around for the round of 8, guys. If you're